MLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
If you get a cough, please leave it. You know, they used to say Abraham Lincoln got the worst press. I said, there's no way he got worse than me.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon, or we're calling this thing online. What are we calling it? Joey Clark Live. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter, X, at the Joey Clark. And what a day it will be. I'll just say, folks, I don't know if the election is actually the inflection point, but it does feel like we're in the midst of a revolutionary time. My only advice is to relish it. Try to enjoy yourself despite all the frustrations, tragedies to come. It's fun to live in interesting times. Who cares what the Chinese think? Now, to kick off this show, of course, Eddie is here. How you doing, Eddie?
Wonderful, Joey. How you doing, bro?
Also, Craig Monger of 1819 News is here. How you doing today, Craig?
Oh, I'm doing swell. A
swell?
little sleep deprived, but I'm good.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get into what you were doing yesterday. And, well, joining us to kick off the show to react to this guilty verdict against Donald Trump in this New York trial, we have United States Senator Katie Britt. Senator, Katie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Jerry. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on. It's always good to be with you and Eddie, and excited to be on with Craig, and certainly look forward to hearing why he is sleep deprived.
Well, I'll give it up. You were one of 5 witnesses for the execution last night, correct?
Yes, one of 5.
Yeah. So, we'll be talking about that in the second hour. It's pretty intense.
Sorry, I think Joey didn't want to get off to such a depressing note. Thank you,
kidding.
Senator Britt.
Yeah, I just took you there.
Well, let's go from depressing to the,
enraging
breakdown of the rule of law in the nation. That's not depressing. But no, in all seriousness, what did you think of when this ruling came down yesterday?
Look, I think along with so many Alabamians, just incredibly disappointed that we clearly have a two-tier system of justice. Disappointed that we see the left using our judicial system as a political weapon. Political fights should be fought at the ballot box, and it will be ultimately on November 5th, and that's when this will be decided, because I believe the American people are sick of this. And we've seen a pattern of this behavior, whether it was the Department of Justice, encouraging the U.S. Marshals to not make arrests in front of the Supreme Court justices' homes when we saw the Dobbs opinion leaked, and we saw so many people out trying to influence that decision in front of Supreme Court justices' homes. I exposed in a hearing then, I said, look at what you're telling them. You're telling them to actually not make arrests, not enforce 1507. We saw it on the impeachment or lack thereof impeachment trial in the Senate, when Chuck Schumer went down to the floor and decided to put precedent aside, and put what was best for the American people aside, what was best for the country aside, and play politics, and not allow the American people to hear the evidence to impeach Secretary Mayorkas. And then now we see this. We see something that a case that was brought that obviously both the FEC and DOJ chose to not bring, state prosecutors chose to not bring, a statute of limitations that had been run. We see them, attempting to undermine that with obviously what I believe was just an incredibly flimsy case with no merit. And unfortunately, we see the Biden administration taking a victory lap, what we knew they would do all along, standing outside of the courtroom and doing a campaign event. I think it's disgusting. It's despicable. This is what we expect from a third world country, to go after political opponents, and we look down on that. And now it's happening right here in front of our eyes in the United States of America, and we have to say enough's enough.
And I'm quite worried that when you look, the sentencing is scheduled for July the 11th, and the convention is supposed to be, I believe, the 14th or 15th there in the middle of July. Do they try to throw him in prison with a sentencing all of a sudden. I know this will be appealed, but it just, at this point, I think nobody can take any sort of moves off the table. It's not so much they don't want people to vote for Trump. They believe in their minds, whoever you define they as, that he is not allowed to be voted for. The American people can't have this choice. And I'm generally worried about the country. I suspect, Senator, I'm going to get calls here today with people saying we got to rise up, we got to do things. And I guess we have to wait till November.
Yeah, well, look, no, we need people doing things now. And first and foremost, obviously, I urge people to be peaceful and lawful. Right. I understand how incredibly frustrating this is. But, I mean, reaffirming that violence of any kind is unacceptable, and it certainly undermines our cause. We have to use our voice, and we have to use it loud. We need people volunteering, donating, getting out and speaking truth to power. And we need to make sure that we are heard on November 5th. And so I think we build those coalitions starting right now. I mean, you look at this, and I think to your point, what are they attempting to do, whether it's the things I talked about with 1507, whether it's the things I talked about with the impeachment trial, whether it's them trying to actually go after parents who are speaking up in school boards. They're trying to silence us, and that's what they're trying to do with Donald Trump right now. You know, you look at this, they want him off the campaign trail, Joey, because they know that his message is resonating. They know that people know that under Joe Biden, we are weaker and more vulnerable every day that he is in the White House. We're seeing it at our border. We're having a massive invasion at our border. We're seeing it abroad, where our weakness has never been greater. You see it here at home with gas prices at the grocery store. Everything in between. Our streets are less safe, and so people know that President Trump will make us. Will put America in a better place. We'll have secure borders. We'll have safe streets. We'll have stronger families, and we will. And people will have more respect for us across the globe. And so they want to keep him off the trail. I think that they've done the exact opposite when it comes to building his momentum, though. I think people are rallying behind him. We saw him have the largest day he's ever had in political donations. And so, we win by playing politics ourselves, meaning getting out, doing the work, going door to door, building coalitions, and winning at the ballot box.
Yeah, let's channel it to November, folks. And again, we're talking to United States Senator Katie Britt. You know, there's a lot you've been sponsoring, getting done behind the scenes that don't always get the headlines, though. I've been watching you on the press tour there with Ted Cruz. One in particular, if I was listening to, say, some of the mainstream or the left, they would have said you were inspired by The Handmaid's Tale with this Moms Act. But this is obviously not true. Where do you describe to folks what the Moms Act does, just plain and simple?
Yeah, well, I do, and let's describe that. Then let's also talk about obviously how terrified the left is for people to actually hear our message because it resonates with people. The Moms Act is to support mothers, people who are in their prenatal and their postnatal and early childhood stages to provide that support. So the first title of it creates a pregnancy.gov, which has all of the resources that a new mom may need right there at her fingertips. And so it'll show you kind of where you can go and what you can lean on and things you can utilize. And so to have a database that moms can use to learn, to grow, to find the resources they need to have a healthy, fruitful pregnancy for themselves, obviously for their child, is critically important. And it's kind of crazy that there is no one-stop shop right now. So really excited about that. And then also the second title provides opportunity, whether it's telehealth for women who are in rural communities who want to do prenatal visits that way. Whether it is helping with housing or diapers or creating just, again, that structure that a woman may need when she finds herself to be pregnant, I think is critically important. And then last but not least, it allows women who would like to seek child support during the prenatal phase of their pregnancy. And ultimately, it advances a comprehensive culture of life. It's going to grow and strengthen families. It's going to ensure moms, have those opportunities and those resources that they need to thrive and their children as well. So I am really proud. I believe the Republican Party is the party of life. We're the party of parents. We're the party of moms. We're the party of families. And we are showing that right now. And, Democrats for Life actually came out and criticized members of the Democratic Party who came to vilify this. And what it showed you is when we put this Moms Act out and you see Democrats attack it, it shows that they're not just pro-choice, they're actually pro-abortion, Joey. And if we can't all supporting a woman through that journey of pregnancy to bring life into this world, that should be something that is bipartisan. And they really showed their hand. They clearly don't want us speaking in this lane, which means, you know me, which means I'm going to speak even louder and more often and more diligently because I believe in supporting women. And these are some of the things that they probably don't want Trump out there talking about because they know it resonates with people and they know it's what we need to do to create a stronger family units and therefore a stronger country.
Yeah, and I mean, ever since your response to the State of the Union, every response to you has been a little bit extra, I'll put it mildly. Everything you do.
Right.
Well, congratulations on that, I suppose I'll say. And I know also it's like the Improve Act is another part of, because Alabama has, especially our rural counties, has a unique issue, especially with maternal health care. We have one of the highest maternal death rates, I believe, in the nation. And so it seems you're very laser focused, and I appreciate the work, and I would hope this is gaining bipartisan support at this point.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you're right. I mean, obviously, I have struck a nerve, and so the attacks are continuing to be even greater. But if you look at the fact checks, they've all come back in our favor because this is something that is going to support women and children in this journey, and so I'm excited about that. And then when you look at the Improve Act, NIH Improve Act, I want to figure out. We have the highest maternal mortality rate in the nation. It is 2024. Our maternal mortality rate should be moving in the opposite direction that they are. And so I paired up with Alfonso Butler of the NIH Improve Act to get to the bottom of what is occurring and obviously, and then how do we remedy this? How do we make sure that we are putting these women on a pathway to a successful pregnancy and obviously a healthy one? I also partnered with Senator Maggie Hassan on the Rural Obstetrics Act. As you know, we have many maternal care deserts in our state. We actually had 3 labor and delivery units closed down just in the last few months, leaving yet another 2 counties with absolutely no access, to a labor and delivery unit. And so figuring out how do we make sure that these women in these areas in an event of emergency, that emergency responders are prepared to help deliver that child, to help keep that woman safe, to help keep that baby safe. And so Maggie Hassan and I have partnered to work on that, and then also continuing to work in that space when we talk about supporting these women, supporting these families. I've been pairing up with Senator Amy Klobuchar to work on youth mental health. I mean, we know that youth mental health, the rate of depression among our youth has more than doubled since 2011 to 2019. When we look at that and look at the suicide rate, 1 in 3 high school young women said she actually considered death by suicide last year, and then 9% of our high school population actually attempted death by suicide, 9%. And so, and looking at the whole picture, looking at maternal health, how do we support women in their pregnancy journey? How do we fix our maternal mortality rate? How do we make sure that our rural hospitals and rural obstetrics are supported? And then how do we, as these children come into the world, whether it is working on that, looking at that social media, looking at the whole thing, how do we put the proper guardrails up to allow people to, express themselves, be free, but also, make sure that we're protecting them from harm.
Well, and one more general question, I'll get you out of here. I'm seeing, and you just said in your response there, you are trying to still work with folks with common sense solutions across the aisle. I'm seeing you and Senator Graham calling for the Laken-Riley Act to get passed. And I also saw, that you've become something of buddies with John Fetterman, who I think is actually better than Dr. Oz. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I think he is. Yeah, I like Fetterman very much. And so my general question is this: how well is the climate up there? Because the nation, especially in media, seems so divided right now, really, especially with this Trump verdict. What is it like between Democrats and Republicans, your colleagues there in the Senate? Are people actually still talking, working together?
Yeah, they are. And listen, you look at things like the Laken-Riley Act that Senator Graham and I tried to get passed unanimously last week, and unfortunately we were blocked by Democrats. That's a bipartisan piece of legislation. However, when Chuck Schumer wouldn't put that on the floor, he actually put forth a bill that got less votes than we have co-sponsors. So he put a border bill on the floor that only got 43 votes. We have 47 co-sponsors on the Laken Riley Act. So unfortunately, you have people in Democratic leadership, starting with Joe Biden, that don't want to achieve solutions, and we are unfortunately seeing that with Chuck Schumer in the United States Senate as well. However, I will say I am a big believer that relationships matter, and that you treat people, you do not have to agree with someone to treat them with respect. And John Fetterman and I, our relationship goes all the way back to orientation, November of 2022, before we were ever sworn in. And so obviously, continuing to build on those relationships, building them with trust and respect so that we can have tough conversations, because honestly, Joey, we got to have a lot of tough conversations in this nation. We really do. And if they are ever going to yield solutions, they're going to have to be honest. And you know this as well as me. You are never going to have an honest conversation with someone that you don't both trust and respect. So I use every opportunity that I have with my colleagues, whether I agree with them or not, as an opportunity to earn that trust and respect, in the hopes that one day I will be able to get in the room on behalf of Alabama, on behalf of our values, on behalf of this nation that we know and love, and have a really tough conversation that leads us to a pathway back to prosperity, that leads us to a pathway back to more freedom, that leads us to a pathway back to more security. And so I am proud of those relationships I've built on the other side of the aisle, even with people I don't agree with. And I do think that there is more of that. Unfortunately, we're seeing, whether it's the NIH Improve Act, whether it's the Rural Obstetrics Act, whether it's the Youth Mental Health, whether it's the work Kirsten Gillibrand and I did to make sure that our our military families, children were able to get access to mental health care. Those things don't get covered like they should. And I think if they would, they'd give people more hope that there was a pathway forward. And so I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to keep fighting for both our values and our people. And where I have common ground with someone, like whether it's rural obstetrics, whether it's make maternal mortality, or whether it's John Fetterman with Israel, I'm going to find that common ground and march forward and hopefully make the nation better.
Well, amen to that. And I really appreciate your time and so many other things to talk about, especially I love the work on the banking committee, what's maybe going on in the crypto space. We'll do it a different day. But I would love that. I would love that. And that's another thing where Democrats, you look at what's going on at the FDIC, and Marty Gruenberg needs to go. And if this were a Republican, appointed person, they would literally be burning the house down. And so I'd love to talk to you more about that and what's happening on that committee as well. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Katie.
All right. Thank you.
United States Senator Katie Britt, folks, just getting her initial reaction. I tried for Tuberville, and he's on a plane.
How dare
of all
you.
days to be on a plane.
On a Friday?
I know.
Say it ain't so.
Like, come on, man. Like, I was trying to put on a big show, but we do have GOP Chairman John Wall calling in. Alabama GOP chairman, him calling in at 12:35 here in about 10, 11 minutes. And let's adjust your camera. Let's turn it.
Can you not
more.
see me?
No, I can't see you at
Where you
all.
at?
It's like, where's Craig?
For Craig.
Oh, fudge.
Craig.
Oh, goodness.
How about this?
Oh, baloney.
Craig.
You keep playing with that, and this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. We're real professional here, folks. We got senators, we got AGs, we got chairmen.
And then you have this bumbling fool trying to adjust his camera.
But this part of the program is brought to you by River Region Contracting, the premier roofing contractor here in the area. And why can we say that? It's because they do amazing work. And the beautiful thing is their inspections and estimates are always free. So if you are looking to do some basic preventative maintenance, especially in this Alabama climate, all these elements, the storms, the heat, the cold, well, you probably should get it done every year. Get an annual check on that. And the beautiful thing, again, is that River Region Contracting will do that inspection for free. Also, if they do find a problem, give you an estimate for free. That estimate's accurate. They show up on time. They get the job done well. And they're a team of insurance specialists. So if they do find a problem with your roof that your insurance company might cover, they can walk you through the claims process and make it that easy and even pleasurable. Not something you usually associate with a claims process. So check them out today. Give Todd Clark and his team a call at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Casserole, hickory, smoked, or roasted turkey with your favorite classic sides. So many options. All homemade and delicious, just the way you expect. Visit Bates House of Turkey in Montgomery at the corner of Carter Hill and Vaughan Roads. Or call 334-215-7775. Eat turkey. Feel perky.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-632-4055 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-632-4055. That's 800-632-4055. What do you have to lose? Call 800-632-4055. Again, 800-632-4055.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hello, this is David Ernest with Ernest Financial. And just like Ernest Financial makes lots of money for our clients, Blue Water has helped us make lots of money for our company. You cannot go wrong with advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. On this last day of May, expect a breezy day, but a warmer day with a high temperature up to about 90 today. Lots of sun mixed in with some high clouds. Tonight, cloudy at times, overnight low temperature down to about 69. June starts tomorrow. It'll be a breezy day with a high in the mid-80s both Saturday and Sunday. Scattered random showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. The storms are a little bit more numerous on Sunday, but still random. Storms will start to thin out a bit on Monday and Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Do you have big plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Getting a lot of calls rolling in here. 272-9228. If you want to get in on the program. Let's go to Jeff on line 1. Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Hey, I won't hold you long. I got two things. I sent you an email with a letter I just wrote to Representative Barry Moore that I'd like, if you could, read it online. It's clean. And the second thing, I want to read you something that Marjorie Taylor Greene said on Truth Social. If I see any account saying we need to replace President Trump with another candidate at the RNC convention, I will unfollow you. You are the problem. Go join the Democrats because we do not want you. We are replacing you with new voters that won't put up with dictator-style banana republic. And I'm not going to repeat what the last part here, but it's a 4-letter word.
Well, and actually, Jeff, I'm not seeing the attachment, so send it to me again. I'm seeing your email,
okay.
but I didn't get the actual thing you wrote. So.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
That's how Eddie Bader sends emails.
Yeah?
I tell them, I give them a whole pre-thing. I'm sending you all this, and they usually call me back and go, hey, I got your little message, but nothing attached.
That's how Eddie Bader does it?
That's how Eddie Bader does it, yeah.
That's how Eddie Bader does it. Yeah. Let's go to Gene. Hello, Gene. How are you?
Joey Clark, I have been trying to call you for 3 weeks, and you've had some long-winded people on there.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Miss Lucy grown now?
She's 6-7 months now, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you called me 2 weeks ago and we talked about
when she was here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've been trying to call you since then.
She wants some updates, Joey. She needs updates.
Well, I'll try to be more dutiful in getting you on the phone, Gene.
Okay, thank you, Joey. Love you.
Love you too, Gene. Take care, hon.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this? Hello? Anybody there?
Bueller.
I guess not. Let's go to Red Top. Hey, Red Top.
Hey, gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yes,
sir.
No, who's
you
this?
know, Joey, we're not getting the beat whenever we get put on the air anymore. That's why I keep saying, am I on the air? Anyway, I'd like to know what happened. Let you guys know what happened in Hong Kong tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's already tomorrow in most of the world. And this is very creepy, and it goes to show you what happens when you get totalitarians to take care of the government. There were 13 people convicted and sent to prison, and a whole bunch of other ones just because they put together a party to oppose the last election in Hong Kong. Now, that was, I do believe, 2 years ago, but now they're starting to go around and arrest people that participated in any form or fashion. And take it from somebody who's been through the Vietnam crisis and all that, the power of the deep state is 10 times now what it was then. And what Eisenhower said has become completely true. He got out just in time because, yes, they have taken over. And this is no surprise to me what happened in New York, because New Yorkers hate Donald Trump. I don't know how many New Yorkers you know, but I know a lot of them and have met a lot of them. Ain't a one of them like Donald Trump. But it's a tragedy, and I'm shocked at the jubilation of the prosecution team. They think this is the greatest thing in the world. No, it's a tragedy for this country. I don't get it, guys. But it is a beautiful damn day. This warm breeze is wonderful. All those contractors outside. Damn nation, we're in paradise. Y'all need to take the mic outside, Joey. Have a good weekend, gentlemen. Roll Tide, go Trump.
Thank you, Red Top. Appreciate you. 272-9228. And, let's bring on now the chairman of the Alabama Republican Party. We have John Wall on the line. Hey, John, how are you today, sir?
I am doing well. It's good to be on the show.
And good to talk to you. And so what's your reaction? I'm actually throwing up on the stream here a picture of you with, I believe this was at that dinner with President Trump. And so you see this being brought down by this court in New York. What say you?
Well, look, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know where other state party chairmen are across the country. I know not all members of the party or the RNC are as conservative as I am, but I'm going to just speak very boldly here. This is a tragedy. I cannot believe that we are seeing this coming down from this court and really seeing the redefining of what our justice system is, to see the weaponization of our justice system and to see the mainstream media supporting this goes against everything that our country should stand for. And it's almost heartbreaking as I watch the Democrat Party getting away with, in my opinion, is turning America into a banana republic, like just forgetting these fundamental and foundational principles we should stand for.
Yeah, it really is frustrating to see, but I'm not the only one. I know you're not the only one who's frustrated. We've got a lot of people out here who are. How should they channel this feeling right now, what they're seeing and watching right now?
Well, I think there's two main things. The first is, and I'm proud to see people across the country who are making the commitment to stand up financially and with their time, volunteering. I know here at the State Party, we've been overwhelmed with supporters, signing up to volunteer to help. We always take teams outside the state to help our presidential nominees. We're going to do the same thing with Trump. We're going to fight for this. So volunteer. Like, there are opportunities where everyone can make a difference. Volunteer with your time, or maybe make a contribution, make a donation to help other people be able to get to swing states and make a difference. And then the most important thing, challenge this verdict. This is a very improper verdict. If you have friends, if you have family who don't understand the facts here, make sure they know the facts. And there's two clear things that are obvious. One, both the DA and this judge had a pre-bias against Donald Trump going into it. They should have recused themselves. This was purely politically motivated. And we know that because every single part of this case and the facts surrounding it go back to 2016. And if there was a genuine concern about legalities, this case would have been tried 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Not today.
Right, and it's awfully convenient, not just this case, but all the other ones being brought are all right here within the main window before an election. That's just a coincidence, though. Of course, they will say it's absurd. It's absolutely.
Of course, it's a coincidence, right?
I'm having to hold. I brought you on and Senator on because I probably don't need to just come out of the gate speaking today. I'm holding back. It's infuriating what we're seeing.
No, it really is, and like I said, everyone. And one thing I hope comes out of this is that we as a country, and especially we as a Republican Party, become the party who stand for the rule of law, and we stand for true justice reform. And what I mean by that is everyone should have access to a fair trial. That is a fundamental thing we believe in America. Everyone should have access to a fair trial, and Donald Trump did not have that. He did not have a fair trial, and we need true justice reform that makes sure this never happens again to anyone on either party.
Amen. Now, if I could shift gears real quick, we were talking about this earlier in the week. Jeff Poore and I were talking about this. What's going to happen here with this brand new Alabama District 2, the congressional district? And, of course, I think there's going to be a lot of national money, but how much do you think the Alabama GOP is going to be playing hard here in this new district for the general?
Oh, we're it's ironic. Last night, as I was doing TV interviews on Donald Trump, in the middle of that, I stopped and paused for a conference call with our grassroots leaders across District 2, talking about our plans and how important this district is. Whether we like it or not here in Alabama, we are on the front lines of holding the House. And ironically, it's the same weapon that they're using against Donald Trump right now. It's the federal courts. Democrats can't win on the issues. They look at their policies, the border, national security, keeping our communities safe, the economy. They know they can't win on the issues, and so they're weaponizing the justice system and the court system to get their agenda in. And that's what happened in CD2. They forced a new district through the power of the federal courts, and we are going to fight them with everything we have at the state party. And I hope and pray that we prevail and that justice wins.
Well, amen. And again, same answer you already gave. If folks go volunteer, give donations, let's get this thing done. Let's take this fight seriously, and it really is going to be a fight. No slam dunk, I think, for either side. Truly a competitive district here.
No, that's right, and it's a good point. This is a bigger battle than just about Donald Trump. This is about CD2. This is about Alabama, and this is about fundamentally defending America and the American dream, and making sure children have opportunities. The same thing we did.
Well, I appreciate your time today, John. If folks want to just generally help out the party here in the state, how can they do so?
Well, we're on social media at Alabama Republican Party, and then, of course, our website is algop.org. algop.org. They can sign up for newsletters. They can volunteer to help. They can make a contribution, and we need everybody. This is all hands on deck for the future of our country.
Well, thank you, John. We'll talk again soon. Thank you, sir.
Yep, good to be on the show.
John Wall, folks, there, chairman of the ALGOP. And, it's pretty unanimous. And there's a clear divide. There's people that love seeing Trump get it. And then you're seeing a bunch of folks, though, saying, okay, now they're using like the Andrew Breitbart gif. War. It's going to be war right now. I think that's where it's going. You're seeing a lot of folks. Andrew Tate saying, I'm going to give that N-word $200,000. And he used the hard R. I'm like, what in the world, Mr. Tate?
that was a weird tweet by
it was a weird tweet.
Andrew.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of sick of how the justice system has treated him. So,
yeah,
right.
I can imagine that. There's but I don't think it's going to be that extreme. I think it's just another drop in a very large bucket filled with human excrement, and people are just getting sick of it. I don't think it's going to have, people are going to be outraged for the next couple of days, but they were outraged whenever the first E. Jean Carroll.
When the FBI raided him.
Yeah, the FBI raided him. It's just, it's terrible. It's a terrible strategy. But then again, I don't know. The people that hate him are still going to hate him. The people that love him are still going to love him. And, I think we're going to see, I don't think it's going to be a tremendous repeat of 2020 in November, but I still think the lines haven't shifted that much. So we'll see.
Yeah, I do wonder that it depends on how much, I guess, a person is paying attention. And we have to keep in mind a lot of folks still aren't really paying that much attention to what's going on. But Eddie, what did you think when you saw this news?
I was pretty ticked off. To be
Rage?
honest. A little bit, but I turned it all off because I just gets me going even more. So I turned it on off. I got on the boat, went for a boat ride, kind of kicked a few bush lights back and realized, kind of like what Craig said, this is just another drop in a big bucket of crap, and it's something I hate seeing our country go through. But if it's the growing pains that we have to go through, then so be it.
Yep. And, the pretense is dropped. At 2, we'll have Jeff Deist, I think, on the stream.
Yeah.
And look forward to talking to Jeff. And he's the one who's been saying that for several years now, that politics has dropped its pretenses.
It really has. And again, I think we need, and I hate saying this, but we need some other type of emergency in this country to happen to bring folks together. Because right now, nerves are raw. People that I know that don't give a crap about politics suddenly give a lot more of a crap than they used to. And I really think a lot of it's coming from, not to be ugly, but an ignorant side. They read the headlines and they're everything they do off the headlines. And so you're just going to come up with the emotional reactions, and that's kind of what I'm concerned about.
Well, it's just a matter of how many folks understand the game that's being played at this point.
Well, and understanding that, it's hard to accept, even me, but knowing that it is a game.
Now, for instance, my grandfather, he saves a few shows on the DVR, on the YouTube TV that he wants to watch. Like I'll sit down, we'll binge watch some Fool Us, Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
One I try to watch, I have trouble. He loves it, though. It's NCIS. It's now NCIS Hawaii he's been watching.
I think there's NCIS every city known to man.
If we're going to do that show, though, and I'm going to be on it, let's do the Hawaii one.
No, there's this finale with LL Cool J gets poisoned by some X virus, and the acting as he's dying of a virus eating from the inside is just the most deadpan. I'm like, really? But it's not NCIS I have a beef with. I'm sitting there with my grandfather watching NCIS Hawaii, and all of a sudden there's a cameo from another character from a different show, and then a promo for that show.
Of course.
The FBI. And I just said kind of fairly loudly, effing propaganda. My grandfather started laughing his head off. And it's just I can't unsee this stuff anymore.
It is.
It's that's not what they do. They're not these wholesome, great TV heroes.
However,
you dopes.
You put them in front of the general ignorant.
It's the same people who think Mike and Molly's funny.
Right.
I am convinced that there is a significant budget amongst America's intelligence agencies to fund certain entertainment.
No doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
No doubt.
The clearest one I saw was that movie, not Fargo, Argo.
Argo.
With, Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Oh,
Where it's something
yeah.
about them getting the
Well, look what we
Iranian
did.
hostages.
How smart we were.
Yeah, I was like this, and I was
Come on.
watching it, and it was like them doing like this poor us CIA moment.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna know that we had any part in this, and I remember thinking the CIA paid for this movie. CIA
No
paid
doubt.
for this movie, without question.
Yeah, and no, and once you start to, it's like just quoting that movies. Actually, this was a great documentary in 1999, The Matrix. Great
Yeah.
documentary.
Looking that
And,
way now, yeah.
You know how Cypher sitting there and goes, oh, you can start to read it this way with the green text is going all down the screen. It's like, oh, there's a blonde right there. There's a brunette. And that's how I feel watching like the news cycles now. I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to say this. This is what I'm supposed to say if I'm on a certain side. Like it's just, it's so fake is the point. And the beautiful thing is when you do look at online culture, there are a lot of folks who aren't used to politics who now have big platforms, though. Like, there was some DJ has like 1.2 million followers said, wait, Donald Trump got called guilty on 34 felony counts for giving money to his side hoe?
Yeah.
What? I'm going to give that, again, N-word even more money. And it's like, wow. Like, it's a different culture going on right now that I think people are underestimating. Well, this is why they're freaking out. This is why they're doing these extreme measures. Because they realize they no longer can control people with just CBS, ABC, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post. They can't even control them fully with CNN and Fox News anymore. There is the monsters out of the box, so to speak. And I'm in the camp of let's let the freak flag fly. Let Trump be the human hand grenade, the big middle finger. What was it in 2020? I always cite this. It was a shirt somebody had in 2020 in Miami. It said Trump 2020 because F you twice.
Yeah.
Well, now it's F you 3 times, 2024. And we'll see where it goes. And, you know, I think the feeling's mutual. Sadly, again, politics, the pretenses have dropped. Doesn't have to be this way. You know, when you heard Senator Britt say, I'm working with folks in the, like, yeah, I would try to do the same thing when I bring Democrats into the studio. I try to understand their perspective and treat them as guests and as people.
Yeah, but there's a reason that they don't do that in the mainstream media.
Right.
The mainstream media, and even outside of just your traditional news, it even like the NCIS stuff, it's meant to keep you stupid.
Right. Yeah.
It's designed to make you ignorant and uninformed. Because, and again, leaving aside the CNN, MSNBC, which is just garbage on top of lies, you can look at just the mindless. There'll be like Hoda and Jenna. I don't know if you've ever attempted to watch that. Like
I have to be drunk on wine in the morning to watch that crap.
I'll see it in the morning, like when I'm at the gym and I'm watching it, and there's so many just brain dead morons holding up signs, so excited, and it's like this smiling robot. It's like, here, I have a one-legged transgender Puerto Rican, and she carves bonsai trees. And it's just the most brainless, mindless thing. It's like it's entertainment for stupid people to keep them and make them more stupid.
Right. Oh yeah, and it's if I had to watch like NBC from they start in the morning to the very end of the day, I would need a lot of Xanax.
Oh yeah.
I would need a lot of it to just zonk out and be like, "Whoa, look, there's a new recipe to impress people at the 4th of July barbecue."
Our local NBC affiliate will make you just as
Yes,
feel just
yeah.
as bad.
It's like I'd like to take that Xanax administered at the end of a shotgun.
Right.
So I will say, SFA and AKA here locally, I'm seeing more and more young people that they're just now getting into the business, and they have been covering the violence a little more. There's been
I give it to AKA, but WSFA.
Yeah.
I'll never
Well,
feel anything different. They're
yeah.
USA Today right here in our own city.
Well, who wrote up the whole non-life-threatening injuries about Amy Dix? Was that SFA?
I think it was WSFA.
Yeah.
That's just.
But again, there's a reason
But we
why.
got that, Chris, from the police bar.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
and that's
yeah.
so. Where's the investigative journalist? Why hadn't somebody, like, I don't know, maybe I was brought up wrong, but I remember as a kid, you would have investigative journalists that would actually get to the bottom of the story. You had journalists that were on the side of consumers that actually get to the bottom of the story. We don't have that anymore.
Well, I'll give you this: the public information officer for the Montgomery Police Department has never once responded to an email from me.
And that's
never.
It's
not
ridiculous.
Once.
Right. It's ridiculous. And so,
And
if you
I've
were to,
sent emails for years.
yeah, and if you were to keep making that a thing, then suddenly you become public enemy number one.
Yeah.
Because people like me want to hear what what Craig's opinion is on things, and then you can't get it because some dork won't let you in.
It's stupid, but you have to think these people have just like tried to develop sort of friendly relationships, and there's plenty of statewide media companies I'm not going to name whose job is to make Montgomery and Stephen Reed look good.
Yeah, oh yes.
And they get
exactly what
information,
you're
and those
talking
of us who aren't interested in making anybody look good or bad for that matter.
That's the reporter I want.
They don't
don't give you time of day, do they? And it's sickening. But I do
frustrating.
appreciate what you do.
No, I do, and it's been a fun weekend as far as making fun of Montgomery is concerned. Because a certain individual in the mayor's cabinet just doesn't want to stop tweeting. But I'm here for it. Keep tweeting. Keep tweeting.
No, not even picking on that individual guy. When I tweet, like, this is the show going on, like Alabama Twitter, I feel like this is just, like, is there anybody else here?
Yeah.
Like,
is there anybody here?
Not really.
No, it seems a little masturbatory at times. It's
like on Twitter in Alabama, yeah.
It's like nobody when the mayor or the governor, I guess the governor has a bit of a following. Senator Britt and Senator Tuberville have fairly big followings on social media. But other than that, it's just a few folks see it. So if, say, the mayor, and I'm not picking on Mayor Reed, Woodfin, anybody, puts out a message on Twitter, how many people see that? Us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But is that Alabamians' fault because they haven't caught on to the Twitter trend?
Actually, I think that's much to Alabamians' credit,
Right,
as much
or they
as the
just wanna
national
ignore
press
it.
wants to
Yeah.
make everybody
Yeah.
think the Alabama's R-worded.
Yeah, I wonder how many Alabamians just ignore it. I mean, I
That's
see it, but
That's funny. Richard Shelby, he did not give a singular fornication about the state media or anything. Didn't talk to him, didn't care.
He really didn't, man.
He did not give a single ounce of a hoot.
but he knew they had to chase him down, and no matter what.
I mean, pretty much. He had a few people, like he had a standard folks that he
Sure.
would talk to, but
You know,
I mean, that
I almost included Shelby in my piece I did this week on historical piles.
Yeah.
Because there was that great moment in '94 when he switches parties after the Gingrich Revolution. There's an Alabama-based reporter. I should find out who this guy's name is. The clip's still up there on YouTube from C-SPAN when this happened. And like they talk about the change, how the Republican Party is going to change the world and all this stuff. Really a fun day for them. But at one point, this Alabama-based reporter goes, "Hey, Senator Shelby, how did the prostate surgery?"
Oh, gosh.
Shelby, to his credit, goes, "Well, I wouldn't recommend it."
Well, Elliot.
My goodness. Well, they took a Roto-Rooter, and they... No. He didn't say that, but that's probably what they did.
Actually, that was a good reply.
Yeah.
That was a really good reply.
Well, no, and it's a different time. Like, where I think the people who are the most authentic are probably going to get the rewards.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't know, man. They get covered up very quickly.
the phonies get elected pretty frequently.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. Maybe I'm thinking more in like who actually shaped the culture going forward is going to be the most authentic.
Oh, I agree. That's why. I mean, it's been really interesting to see as certain people have gotten their social media accounts back, specifically on Elon Musk's X. You can see how the wheat and the chaff sort of get separated because Alex Jones, for instance, his banning made his star rise even farther. And now that he's on Twitter, I have no time for him. Like, I just see a lot of the stuff that he posts, and I'm just like, okay. So it's been really interesting to see the wheat and the chaff separated so well because of the free speech platform. People not caring about they're like, no one follows Brian Stelter on Twitter except to make fun of him.
You know, and I'm, trying to do this more online, and I'm coming in with very low expectations because Montgomery's a small radio market. I have most of my followings on Facebook, and Facebook just, unless I post a funny meme, Facebook doesn't want my stuff to be seen at all, especially not the political stuff. So I'm trying to rebuild and mostly focusing on X. So I get that if I only get a few hundred people watching a show online, cool. We started with zero. Right. We're building. When you're Don Lemon, and you supposedly had hundreds of thousands of people watching you on CNN, and now the best you can do is like a few thousand on your YouTube show.
Yeah. At best.
It shows who's actually got a following and who's just there.
Yeah, that is bizarre, especially YouTube. They prop up certain channels in a big way. Big
Guarantee
way.
his is one of them. Too.
Well, it's like a person who I'm not at all fond of in any way, shape, or form, but this is the best example I can think of.
Don't
is
you say it.
You look up Steven Crowder.
Okay,
You
well,
look up on YouTube Steven Crowder. The first thing that you'll see is that what's that one retard guy? I can't remember his name, but it's all like you'll look up it and you don't get his channel. You get like the Young Turks responding to
Yes,
him, or you
I
get
see that a lot on
the
YouTube.
other guy responding. to
I see that a lot on Joe Rogan
yeah.
stuff, where I'll click on something thinking it's a Joe Rogan clip.
David
and it's-
Pakman is the one. I was
Yeah,
thinking of,
yeah.
And he'll come on there, and it's like, wait, I'm looking up a particular person,
Right.
and even the H3 guys. Like anytime I look up a subject on YouTube, I only get the first thing up there are these consistent channels that I don't like, respond to, interact with, or follow. But
Right.
they're the first ones up there. It's really bizarre to see how they try to prop up certain voices.
You really got to search it out, like, and know what you want. I thought you were about to crap on Lex Friedman. I'm like, don't you?
No. I mean,
Don't you do it.
I wouldn't want to get a beer with the guy, but I think his channel's all right. He's a bit odd.
I would want to get a beer with
Oh,
him. Maybe I'm a
definitely.
bit odd too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Well, you're not odd.
no, I'm not odd at all.
According
Perfectly
to
normal.
Craig.
According to my mom. My
Yeah.
mom says.
Don't I know that,
My
buddy?
mom says that I am a handsome boy. I just got a haircut today.
That's funny. That's what Eddie's mom says
My
about
mom
him.
says I'm the best realtor in all the world.
Aw.
I know it. I even put it on the back of my card for a while.
Yeah. My mom thinks that I'm a handsome prince who can do no wrong, and she's not incorrect in that assumption.
That's not what my mother thought. My mother loved me very much, but that's not what she thought.
What did she say? Did she say things were like really sort of backhanded to you?
Oh no, I
No, she just put-
inherited this from her, and it's I think a Skonecki side of the family, her
Yeah.
side of the family, where I'm just always, and she was definitely always just so disappointed. Like you're never good enough.
Yeah, but it's
what
like-
is you should have you got this brain on you and you're doing this.
Joey, are we keeping the beard like this?
Right.
That kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah. Well, and it was more just disappointment. And I'm like, yeah.
Joseph, when are you going to settle down?
Well, she tried to put you on the map. When
It's like,
she
Mom,
came-
you're not even Jewish.
She came and did the sexual talk at your school. She tried to help you out in popularity there.
Oh, goodness gracious. And then my buddy who was in that class, Gumtown John, who comments, he's like, yeah, and she told us to rub our balls to check for cancer. And I'm like, oh, I blacked that out.
Hi, class. Today we're going to talk about Joseph's crunchy socks.
Right. Right.
Right.
Did she use you as examples with anything, Joey?
No, thank God, no.
I would tell him every night at the dinner table, it's perfectly normal.
Perfectly okay, Joseph.
Perfectly normal. I broke a sock in half the other day, but it's perfectly normal.
Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Look, this has got off the. This is why I invited on, like, actual prestigious people. Because I knew this is where it was going to go today.
I'm glad I waited till after the prestigious people came on there. Go for crunchy socks. Hi, Senator Brent. How are you?
Though I was a little tempted with Senator Brett to go, have you seen from 10 months ago the Tom Segura bit where he talks about Ted Cruz as his neighbor?
Yeah.
I was very tempted to ask
That's actually a pretty good one. You ought to send her that clip. 'Cause that's
because
funny.
it's like, well, it also makes Ted Cruz sound like a frickin' creep.
Weirdo. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when you hear the things about like Ted Cruz, I can't remember who it was. Who's the guy, the senator who became a comedian? That he was on Segura's
Al Franken.
podcast. Yeah, Al Franken. When he told the story about during COVID or whatever, when Ted Cruz got in trouble for going on some trip or whatever, he was like. I can't remember the line that he said, but it was so funny. He's like, because the friends that he invited to go to Mexico are the ones that shared the text messages with the press. And he's like, it's like, friends don't do that. So
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
think Ted Cruz has friends.
Right. Yeah. I didn't realize it was supposedly friends that ratted him out.
Yeah, he got screwed on that. one.
Yeah, it's such a. That's where I want things to go. I want the authenticity, even like all the ugliness, all the weird. Like, let it all out. And it is great today. Twitter has trending Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew, like all this hush money.
Yeah.
Trump did hush money. It's like, oh, give me a break.
I still
Come
wonder
on.
where the Epstein list is.
Right. Like, give me a break. You
Anybody checked on
corrupt,
Ghislaine
depraved
Maxwell lately?
Yeah,
They
it's-
should talk if somebody
It's
talked
like,
to her.
it's like, what's worse, paying off the woman that you slept with or publicly defaming, harassing, and embarrassing her and essentially calling her everything but a 2-cent whore, which is, by the way, what Bill Clinton did.
Mhm.
So
Bimbo eruption.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, how is I'm not doing a whataboutism here, but can we have some consistency?
Well, somebody who's not that political was asking me, like, what's the big deal? Trump messed up.
He paid a whore. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Well,
but
they're like, he got caught and all this stuff. So I think what frustrates me, and I think frustrates most folks who watch this all the time, is like, we very well know that for the longest time, it's like you're playing a game of football. And everybody's playing by the rules. Pass interference there, holding there. Oh, you actually passed it forward, like across the line. Like you can't, line of scrimmage, you can't do all these things. So everybody's following the rules. The refs are calling the game normally. And then all of a sudden, the free safety pulls out an AK-47 and just mows down the offense. And the refs act like nothing happened. Like nothing's different. Like they just didn't do anything incredibly extraordinary and outrageous. And we keep going down that road where it's like, are we going to play by the so-called rules of this game, or are we just going to let the most depraved liars in our society continue to push the envelope?
That's what's happening.
Until they get their way.
Well, I mean,
and they act like, oh, we didn't do anything.
But only in New York, it seems. Like that's
Oh,
the thing.
yeah.
All of these cases, the E. Jean Carroll case, this was all done in New York. I mean, the Georgia stuff kind of fell apart. It's a very particular group in a very particular area.
Right.
And so while that is sort of comforting, knowing that it's just a particular batch of bad apples in the Big Apple, it is still scary that how absolute it can be whenever a group of people just determine that you're guilty of something beyond reason. It's terrifying.
Well, we'll see.
Democracy in action, people.
We got to hit this break. More news and views after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Following his conviction on Thursday, former President Trump has angrily denounced the criminal trial as a disgrace. Judge Juan Merchan scheduled Mr. Trump's sentencing for July 11th. A spokesperson for the University of California, Santa Cruz, says many people have been arrested at a pro-Palestinian demonstration that has been blocking the main campus entrance for days. While more than 243,000 people in Texas remain without electricity following severe storms this week, another round of severe weather is forecast. Heavy rain also possible for southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and Mississippi. In South Texas, high temperatures will pose a threat. The Dow had 183 points. The NASDAQ is down 187. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Everyone knows the old saying, nothing lasts forever. Well, whoever said that obviously never bought a timeshare. Not only do your maintenance fees and assessment fees go on forever, they go up forever. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Over 10 years ago, I was a timeshare salesman. But once I saw the dark side of the business, I quit. I started helping folks get out of their timeshares. Since then, we've helped over 30,000 families by getting them out of bad timeshares. If your timeshare agreement goes on forever, if you were told timeshares are a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you have questions, we have the answers. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-213-5757. 800-213-5757. 800-213-5757.
The Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Well, hi, everybody. On this last day of May, expect a breezy day, but a warmer day with a high temperature up to about 90 today. Lots of sun mixed in with some high clouds. Tonight, cloudy at times, overnight low temperature down to about 69. June starts tomorrow. It'll be a breezy day with a high in the mid-80s both Saturday and Sunday. Scattered random showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. The storms are a little bit more numerous on Sunday, but still random. Storms will start to thin out a bit on Monday and Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The state of Alabama has executed a convicted killer by lethal injection for the brutal murder of an elderly couple 20 years ago. Jamie Ray Mills beat and stabbed Floyd and Vera Hill to death before stealing $140 and their prescription medicines in 2004. Mills was pronounced dead at 6:26 p.m. Thursday night at Holman Correctional Facility. The City of Montgomery's Office of Violence Prevention and the Grants Department hosted an information session Thursday night. Both offices seek to create violence prevention strategies consisting of faith-based leaders, educators, parents, and organizations to address violence-related issues in Montgomery. A reward of $5,000 is now being offered in the hopes of solving the murder of 52-year-old Yvette Carter of Montgomery. Carter was shot and killed at her home in the 4900 block of Hatton Avenue in the South Lawn community on February 11, 2023. If you have information about the murder of Yvette Carter, please contact Crime Stoppers. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. It's 334-272-9228. Well, the only thing I know for certain, folks, after the conviction yesterday evening is I'm definitely voting for a convicted felon now. Like, I already said last week I'm voting for Trump because of what, Eddie? The dancing?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, did you see him dancing at the Bronx rally? I mean, it's like, let's have some fun here. But now it's like, oh, wait, you're going to tell I'm not allowed to vote for him? Oh, I'm going to vote for him now. Doesn't mean it's making a big of a difference in Alabama. We already know Trump was winning Alabama. Right. But it's just one of those, symbolic, like, go away, step off, go jump in a lake.
I hope that's the case, man. I just worry if this kind of silliness elevates to the point of, interfering with the election, because that's their ultimate goal.
This isn't interfering with
the
election.
But
they're cheating. Yeah. Clearly, they're cheating.
Openly cheating. But
right. Well, but I'm also the guy who says politics is fundamentally force and fraud. So, I need to go grab stuff I wrote 15 years ago. Like, guys, I've been saying this for nearly half my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's waking up to this reality of what government actually is? Though, there are times where you need actual governance, and I think we all live aloof from a lot of what goes on in government.
Sure.
Whether you're talking something simple as a public school or a public library, the historic archives. I mean, and there are good things happening, bad things happening. It's one of the most awesome, I'm not saying like, oh, awesome, man. I mean, like, awesome in fear and awe, wonder and awe, responsibilities that the state of Alabama still affords itself, the people of Alabama still afford this authority, is the death penalty. And I have never seen this up close and personal. In fact, I don't think I've seen dead bodies. I've seen dead people before. I don't think I've ever seen somebody killed in front of me. So, I'm turning now to Craig Monker. Craig, you were there yesterday. This was the execution of convicted double murderer Jamie Mills. It was by lethal injection. I'm looking at the story you wrote up. And I'll bring it up on the screen here. This is a quote from Mills saying, "I love you all, carry on." That was his final words.
Last word that he spoke, at least the ones that were intelligible to us. After he spoke, the situation is just very bizarre when you watch it. First of all, they put you in a gallery to witness it. I was in the gallery with the other media witnesses and a few corrections officers, but you're in there with his family, his surviving family. And he motioned to them after he gave his final words. He nodded his head, gave them a thumbs up, and he was mouthing stuff. I believe one of them, just from what my limited lip reading ability, I think it was like, "It's okay, I love you," that kind of thing. But his last official words that he spoke into a microphone, and it is bizarre. He's strapped to a gurney. The warden comes in, takes a mic, and he reads the death warrant, and then he says, "Do you have any last words?" And he sticks the mic in his face like it's The Price is Right. It's just very bizarre.
And like they did the whole last meal thing too.
Yeah. He had his last meal. It was a seafood platter, catfish,
bad choice.
Oysters, that kind of thing. Had some snacks too. He took his last meal, and yeah, he was. They put him down. It was his official time of death was 6:26 in the evening, which is so early compared to what Alabama's done before. But he stopped breathing at 6:16, and you could see the color went away from him before they closed the curtain at 6:19. I was explaining this to my wife. It's like when someone dies and their eyes are open, you can see it, but his eyes closed minutes before he actually passed away. There is a certain quality that I will call aliveness.
Yeah.
That you can just see.
Soul.
When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, it's soul, spirit. Every dead body I've seen at a funeral, open casket, I'm like, well, especially people I knew, family members, like, well, they're not there anymore.
Yeah. It is a weird, it's a je ne sais quoi about it. You can't really put your finger on what it is. You just know.
Right. But there's a reason we find, say, burial sites going back hundreds of thousands of years.
Oh, yeah.
There's something that it's fundamental, it's instinctual.
Yeah. I was surprised by the process. Well, first of all, being in there with his family, I don't care who you are or what you've done. You can't not have empathy for the family in that case. It's like, listen, I have brothers and sisters, and if one of them had done something horrible, I would still be there, and it would still be heartbreaking.
Right.
Sure.
And so that was the unpleasant part. It wasn't. I was bothered at how unbothered I was leading up to the moment, leading up to the whole day and the days before. But despite that, it didn't go anything like I expected. First of all, you can't see the drugs that they're administering. It's an IV line that's going through a wall. So you couldn't really tell when they started to administer the first drug of the protocol, which is a sedative. And so he's nodding. You kind of can't tell what's happening. All of a sudden, his spiritual advisor comes and starts praying over him. And he joins in the prayer a little bit. He keeps looking into the gallery because he can see his family in the gallery. He gives him a thumbs up and nods his head like that. And then eventually his eyes were closed and when he was praying, then they opened and then they shut, and then his thumb sort of just melted down. And then from that point, all you can see is him breathing. And this was another surprising thing, is the labored nature of the breathing was pretty shocking, because it was a violent kind of breathing. Like, you're seeing he's asleep, but you're seeing him like very like it's not like breath in, breath out. It's breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. And you're looking at this very sanitized procedure, like you said. But I'm sitting there wondering, you have these conflicting emotions, because I'm like, when you see someone breathing like that, you're like, oh my God, you're not okay. Like,
Right.
so you immediately have that reaction of, oh my God, he's not okay. And then you're like, oh, he's not supposed to be okay. And then my immediate thought following that was, for the love of God, kill him already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you're watching a guy struggle to breathe for minutes, and you're kind of like, can we get this moving? Like, because when you see someone breathing like that, they're not having a good time. And so there's a lot of things going through my head, but the biggest thing that stood out was, and I think I used this word with my wife. I said I was impressed. He was obviously very nervous, especially when the curtain first opened, and it's a very emotional moment. His family first sees him. He's strapped to a gurney. It's not a good look. He was looking at them, and he was sort of nervously shaking around. And then when they give him an opportunity to speak his final words, he displayed a significant amount of composure. And then, like I said, after he said what he said, he kept looking at them, nodding his head and giving them a thumbs up, and he would mouth things like, it's okay. So yeah, it was a bit of a surreal experience, and it's conflicting. It's conflicting, not because I think he's innocent, as he claimed, or not because I think that someone who did what he did shouldn't be put to death, but because you're very much aware of the finality of this. No matter how sanitized they try to make it, it's a white room, almost looks like a hospital room. You're killing a person, and there is no appeals after that. That's as final as it gets. And you sort of I just found myself thinking, like, would I have thought he was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt if I were on that jury? And
well, if it is what he was convicted of is in fact what he did, I'll put it this way, folks: if I did something like that, I would think I deserved to die. He killed Floyd Hill and Vera Hill. They, in 2004, living, I guess, Gwynn, Alabama. They're in Marion County. Floyd was described as a spry gentleman of 87, cared for 72-year-old Vera, who was diabetic and otherwise in poor health. Vera needed several medications. Floyd set an alarm to administer them every 4 hours, and he kept her pills in a locked tackle box in the kitchen. Though the Hills lived alone, their adult grandchildren checked on them frequently. The Hills also held yard sales, and Floyd was known to carry large amounts of money on his person. The employees of the local Amoco gas station certainly knew this, as Floyd always paid in cash. Jamie Mills lived near the Hills with his common-law wife, Joanne. While he was unemployed in June of 2004, his last job had been at that Amoco station Floyd frequented. On June 23rd, Mills and Joanne stayed up all night smoking methamphetamine. The next day, they remained at the at their house until 5 p.m. when they went to a local shop to buy cigarettes and proceeded to the Hills home with the intent to rob them. Floyd apparently knew Mills, as he greeted him by name and allowed the visitors into his home to make several phone calls. After the two couples talked for a time, Vera took Joanne to their shed to show her some items stored for a yard sale. Floyd unlocked the building, which was constructed of plastic siding, and the four looked around. When the women both returned to the house, the men remained in the shed, talking. Joanne then heard a loud noise and turned to see a silhouette through the plastic that looked like Mills swinging something over his head. She and Vera rushed to the shed to find Floyd on the ground. Mills hit Vera in the back of the head with a hammer, and Joanne claimed that she stood in the corner with her eyes closed while Mills repeatedly struck the elderly couple. When Mills finished, he gave Joanne a hammer, a tire tool, and a machete, and he placed a towel over Floyd's head to quiet the gurgling sounds of the dying man. Mills was locked in the shed, and the two stole several items from the house. The tackle box with Vera's pills, Vera's purse, Floyd's wallet, a phone, and a police scanner, netting a total of $140. When the Hills' granddaughter was unable to reach them by phone shortly after dark, she drove by the house and ultimately called the police for a welfare check. Floyd's alarm for Vera's medicine was ringing in the house, and Vera's walker was still in the living room. I'll stop there. This is directly from the Attorney General's office. But let's just say the coroner, everything consistent with blunt force trauma. So I'll say it again. If I did something like that, I would think I deserve to die.
Yeah, I'm the same way as well.
Yeah,
and that was actually disappointing. I get it if you're someone who is maintaining your innocence up until your final moments. It would make sense that you wouldn't make any sort of apology or do anything like that, which he didn't. Jamie Mills didn't even mention the crime or the victims or offer any sort of remorse or whatever. But yeah, by all accounts, he's always said that a third person, a drug dealer, he's always said that he planted, because they found the murder weapons and some blood-stained clothes in the trunk of Jamie Mills' car. And he always said that it was planted there by this other drug dealer that was arrested at the time, but charges were originally dropped. And Joanne Mills actually said the same thing in a couple of statements, and then her third statement was what you read there.
So she recanted, said...
Yeah, she recanted, and of course, Jamie Mills' attorneys have said that there's been some secret deal. There was a secret deal.
Certainly my question is, why did she recant? What did she get out of the deal?
Yeah, well, after she pled guilty to murder, and she got life with the possibility of parole, and that's the...
There you go.
That's the theory, is that there's a deal. Now, of course, the state denies that there was any sort of deal. To get the conviction. And again, it's like, Joanna Mills' testimony isn't exactly the nail in the coffin. If you're found with all the murder weapons and a pair of your pants that has your name on it, has blood on it,
right,
like in your car, that's pretty damning. And
I got to figure, though, those prosecutors told her she's going to get the chair too, unless she... I mean, I've sat in the chair. I've heard those very unfortunate lies that they will tell you.
Yeah.
And weak people will flip.
Well, that is the theory. That's what the people at the Equal Justice Initiative who represented Jamie Mills, that's their claim, is that she was essentially threatened and kowtowed into saying that Jamie did what he did. But at the end of the day, by all accounts, him and his wife were there. Now I don't know if his wife assisted in any way and she's just making herself look good. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were convicted and justice was dealt 20 years later, which is,
That's kind of justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, and it's heavy, to put it mildly.
It was.
Yeah, it is.
And I can't imagine the day you had yesterday, especially the different emotions running through you.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, I mean, I'm not a little girl. I'm an adult in the world, and I understand what it was. I was bothered by how sanitized it was. I'm not saying that I wanted it to be more violent, but it's like we really go through a lot of hoops
Right.
as a species to try to make this seem like it's something else than it is.
Right.
And honestly, that's what I was thinking. It was like while I'm watching him struggle to breathe for minutes, I'm like, it's hard to comprehend that someone could be going through that and not in a tremendous amount of agony. I know that theoretically they talk about, he's sedated, he doesn't feel a thing, and he just drifts away, and that's probably the case.
And it's an involuntary body reaction.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, you're like, are we really being kinder to these people by going through the sanitized procedure? Because that's what I said when I was watching him breathe. I was like, can you just kill him already? Like that was my thought.
thing.
Just get it over with.
Is this the most
humane thing to do? Just because there's no blood and there's no.
And see, I'd be the opposite. If I'm facing death like that, I want the bullet.
Well, and it's
I want to be gone quick. I don't want anybody to have to suffer to watch that ridiculousness. And when the end result is me leaving this world anyway, let's just get it over with.
Yeah. Well, and it's so weird too in human history. Like how the sanitized it is.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it's gone this direction, because not that long ago, say 200 years ago, if not 50, 60 years ago, could be very gruesome.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And, you think of even in the ancient world, they didn't have, ways to surveil one another and control. So the way empires control one another was pretty heinous executions and torture.
Total public.
Oh, yeah.
And so I get that why we've gone away from the public spectacle, a sadistic spectacle of almost torture, but you're right, Craig. It still is killing someone at the end of the day.
And that's what I wasn't able to witness the first nitrogen execution that we did a while back. Hopefully I'll be able to witness it in September when we have the next scheduled one. But it was again the same thing of people talked about him like struggling to breathe, and they talk about the involuntary movements of it, but it was that's what was overwhelmingly in my thought process of, is this really kinder, or is it just is this really for their sake or for our sake?
Ours.
And it was odd because again, there's nobody around to explain what that sensation feels like, because it's final. So who the hell knows?
I encourage folks, if they want to read it, your write-up here is you're good at what you do.
Oh, thank you.
It's balanced. It describes the scene, but also statements from family, from the governor, from many others. And I encourage folks to go read it. Putting it up on the live stream now. Convicted double murderer Jamie Mills executed by lethal injection. Quote, "I love you all. Carry on." And hit this quick break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Honey, I got my bonus check today.
That's great, sweetheart.
Let's book that Hawaiian vacation right now.
Actually, I was thinking more like an electrical upgrade for our house.
What?
It's not all that glamorous, but updating your home's electrical system is a great investment, enhancing its value and your safety. The panel and wiring in most older homes were not designed to meet modern demands. The experts at Crosby Electric can update your system to give you peace of mind.
Sorry, honey, but I just want to feel safe in my own home.
Faulty wiring and electrical equipment are among leading causes of most home fires. Crosby Electric will make sure your panel, meter, circuit breakers, and receptacles are up to date.
I can just see us lying on the beach at Waikiki.
And I can see us lying in our own bed, knowing we're safe.
Okay, but next year...
I'll dance the hula in a grass skirt.
All right.
Sleep well with no electrical worries. For a free home assessment, visit crosbyelectric.com.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group and an update on the real estate market in the River region. Sales of homes for the last 5 months will top 1,900 homes. Even though sales are slightly lower, the average sales price is still climbing. First-home home buyers comprise over 34% of all sales, with no slowdown in sight for them. We now have more homes on the market in all price ranges, which gives buyers more choices than they've had in over 2 years. Some helpful suggestions for today's home buyer would be: 1. Work with a local lender for your loan approval. 2. List 3 must-haves for your new home and seek to find properties to match your needs. 3, work with an experienced and knowledgeable real estate agent to help you with your search, your showings, and receive advice on offers and negotiations. 4, always use a licensed recommended home inspector when you find the home you choose. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Name That Tune returns on Fox Monday. It's gonna be more music and more money.
An extra $100,000.
Ever wondered if you're the smartest person in the room? Patton Oswalt hosts the new Big Money Quiz Show. Buckle up. That's not about what you know, but about how you think. Find out how your brain stacks up against America. The premiere of the 1% Club.
Monday on Fox 20.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. We were just looking at the chat off air. The chat is out of control.
Yeah, y'all need to calm down, yo.
Yeah, out of control. Absolutely out of control, but it's good having y'all all here. Let's go to line 3 and let's go to Chicken Man. Hey, Chicken Man.
Hi, Joey. I got a question for you. If a UFO landed in the parking lot at the studio and chickens stepped out and said, "Take me to your leader," well, first question I'd have for you is, can you cluck chicken language? And then number 2,
what did you just call me?
Chicken clucker.
Would you? Well, yeah, chicken clucker. So, could you speak that language? And then number 2, would you tell them we don't have a leader?
I would, yes. Yes and yes. I would cluck to my heart's desire and be like, our so-called leader poops his pants. Y'all don't want to see
I would hope you would lead them to the local Popeyes. We could have a great spicy chicken
more
fest.
KFC.
Just take them to KFC and flex on them and be like, this is what we do to you people.
Well, actually take different groups. You go to churches, you go to Popeyes. There's a place called Chick-fil-A as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where our leader
will
save some.
We'll convert you before we eat you.
Right. You know what's so sad is I can understand is, Biden must be doing a good job because he's still in office. How far can the great mind of Joe go before we say that we've had enough of it?
Just don't underestimate the depravity of the people in charge of things and the lengths they'll go to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, Chicken Man. Let's go to Lori from Prattville. Hey, Lori.
Hey, guys. So you're saying that our leader is Colonel Sanders? That's where you take them, the chicken?
I just take them there because they got the original recipe.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically, sorry, Lori, for interrupting, but technically, Eddie, Norm MacDonald, Colonel Sanders, is my leader. And
really?
Always will be.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I just wanted to say something about what Craig was talking about. We've got this Hollywood notion of death, like it's a switch being turned off, like we see on TV in the movies. And I was a nurse for 28 years. That is not reality. Birth and death are not like they're shown on your TV or your movie screen.
Right.
they're messy. They take a while. They're just not pleasant. It's not the same. You don't shoot somebody and they just fold their arms and fall back and die. It takes a while, and it doesn't matter how you do it. It takes a little while to die, and it's not pretty, and it never will be.
Yeah, and
Well,
just
they make funny noises. They defecate themselves, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter how quick and clean you actually conduct the killing. That the corpse left unattended will bloat and rot. It is an ugly, gross thing, and that's why it's an enemy. That's why death is an enemy of the human species, and it's an enemy introduced in our early history, and it will be the last enemy to be defeated. And
I think we've done a disservice to our society by divorcing ourselves from the reality of birth and death. When it was a part of everyday life, when everybody saw it, then I don't know. I think things meant more to us because we knew the finality of it. And we saw what happened.
Well, this is a society that has lost. I think if you lose a reverence for life, you're going to lose a reverence for death as well. I mean, that's when you look at all the proposed the euthanasia stuff in Canada and certain European countries and everything. It's like we've lost the plot as far as valuing what's right. Death isn't a release. It's like I said, it's an enemy. And I was very acutely aware of the fact. It's like, hey, I've seen people dead before. Obviously, my experience with death is pretty extensive, but I wasn't. There's been one or two events where I'm pretty sure I saw someone get killed, but I didn't know. But yesterday was the first time where I was like, this is definitive. And I was acutely aware of the fact I've seen my children being born. I've seen children being born, and I've seen people. Now I've seen someone be put to death, and I was acutely aware of the circular nature of our existence, and the reverence that you should have for life and death has been significantly lost in our culture. Obviously, I would point to things like abortion as being a real sullying of our view of life. And I mean, and there's plenty of anti-death penalty advocates out there, but there's a certain callousness that comes when you don't have a reverence for human life. And I think we see a lot of that, and I think that it plays in part to the fact that we've lost a reverence for death.
Well, I think we're removed from the fundamentals.
Yeah,
we really are.
Yeah, and the young people that I've encountered both at the State House and at other rallies who think that they are pro-choice, if they actually had to stand beside a woman and watch an abortion being performed, it would change their view radically because they have no idea what they're talking about. They don't know the reality of a birth and a death happening at the same time. And it is nothing like they think it is.
I remember the first time I actually watched an abortion being performed. I was obviously not pro-abortion at that time, but it was definitely eye-opening.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And particularly the late-term abortions, which I was a labor and delivery nurse for decades, and I can't even in my mind see that because it's just so horrible to me.
Especially when you read the retellings of people that were in that field and that have since come out of it and adopted a pro-life position. When they tell their stories, you almost can't listen to it.
Well, y'all, when I first started in labor and delivery in 1987, we could barely save a child born at 33 weeks. Now we're saving children, which we never thought we would ever do, at 22 and 23 weeks. Do you have any idea how small those babies are?
Right, absolutely.
And my last grandson, born this year, was born 10 weeks early, 10 weeks. And he would have died if he had been born in 1987. But he is doing fine.
Well, so, that's a good note to end on after a tough subject we just talked about, and that's a beautiful thing right there, Lori. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lori.
272-9228. Let's go to Babs. Hey, Barbara.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Great show. That was an awesome call.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good.
My question is, was the family there, Greg?
The family of Mr. Mills, the man being
Yes.
executed. Yes, I was in
Yes.
the room with them.
I always wondered how they would feel. Would they feel vindicated or torn, or probably both?
Well, I mean, the vindication from his family. I don't think that's an emotion they would experience. I don't know their opinion
Oh
of
no,
his.
I'm talking about the family
Victims.
of the couple that was killed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the victim's family, so they were there. They requested anonymity, so they were in
Okay.
a room. I don't know how many, what the relation was.
I got you.
All I know is that the commissioner of the Alabama Department of Corrections, John Hamm, read a statement from them after the execution, and they were happy that justice was done.
Well, yeah, I would be happy too, but I still think I'd be torn when I watch somebody die.
Of course.
I can't imagine.
And
But,
that's the
I-
point I was making with me being in the family
Yeah.
with Jamie Mills, with his family. Even though he was the one being put to death, and you're in there with his family. Nobody wouldn't be empathetic in that
Right.
moment. And I certainly
moment,
was, and
right.
it was rough. It was hard because, like I said, I have a brother. I have sister. I have a dad. I have friends.
Right.
If that was happening to them, I don't care. It would bust me up no matter
Sure.
what they had done, and you certainly feel sympathy for them.
Yeah, I'm like you. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it, and then when it comes time to do it,
tough.
But anyway, great show today. I enjoyed the earlier funny part, and enjoyed this too. Well, I'm not going to say I enjoyed it. It was very informative, but I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend, and thank you for letting me get on the air. Love you,
too,
Joey.
Babs.
Thanks, Babs.
Love you, Babs.
Love you, hon.
Bye.
272-9228. Got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Happy birthday, Zach. Zach's
Happy
birthday today.
birthday,
Yes.
Zach.
And I know he's probably working too.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Zach. He just don't stop.
Is he the one you met the first time?
Yes, he
Did
is.
Did that crawl space?
He is the guy that was able to crawl under a crawl space that my fat butt couldn't even get my foot under, Joey. But he was able to crawl right under there, do the work that needed to be done. And literally, what I thought was going to be something that would kill the deal, Ashley and her team and Zach were able to get this thing settled in about 30 minutes.
Wow.
After 3 or 4 other places in town could not even come close.
And they've only gotten better because you've worked
yeah.
with them for all the years since.
Everything that I do, I usually do with Pest Pro Services, my Airbnb. When people call and ask for recommendations, I quickly tell them, you don't want just somebody to come out there and treat the spiders or the yellow jackets that you got. You need somebody to come out there on a regular basis. Make them your regular pest control service.
So, yes, fire ants,
Oh, yeah.
spiders,
Mosquitoes.
like scorpions,
Oh, yeah, Joey.
cockroaches,
No, thank you.
termites.
I don't call them people my friends.
No. So call up Pest Pro Services today. That number 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and Zach and that great team, well, Joey and Eddie sent you. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Hi, everybody. If you have weekend plans, be flexible. The rain chances are going to be higher both days. For tonight, the rain chances 20% or less, with a low temperature tonight down to about 67. But for tomorrow and Sunday, as the new month of June begins, random scattered showers and thunderstorms both days, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. 87 the high on Saturday, 84 on Sunday, and more scattered storms on Monday and Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. The Z700 series is the star of Kubota's line of zero-turn mowers, and our special spring pricing makes it easier than ever to take one home today. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. It's News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. You can always go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Or at the Joey Clark on Twitter X. We're streaming to both of them. I'd mentioned Facebook, but Facebook sucks. They really suck hard. 272-9228. If you want to hop in on the program, let's go to Eric the dog. Hey, Eric.
Hola.
What up, dog?
What are you doing?
That was my spirit dying right there. I cut the lawn. I cut the lawnmower off. I'm outside doing some manual labor.
I see.
I thought you were letting one rip, and I'm like, well, your spirit dying. That's one way to put it.
Gotta get that thing tuned up. Sounds like it's missing. Craig, I got one question for you.
Yep.
Are your calves as nice as Brian's?
Are my, huh?
I said, are your calves as nice as Brian's?
No. Actually, years ago, Brian and I went to the gym, and he mocked me relentlessly for the size of my calves.
Is that right?
And since that day, I have trained them 4 times a week. So they are improved, but there is a certain reality to being 6'3" to where like your legs are always going to look slightly smaller, and my calves are very, very long. So they're okay now. They're super vascular, so they actually look kind of gross. But no, they're not big. There's a certain fat guy calf.
Yep. Especially walking on your toes, man. We develop
that you just don't have.
Walking on your toes.
You walk on your toes and you develop these calves from hell.
Yeah. But you always see those like fatter like lineman looking guys, and they have just massive calves.
Well, they're toting all that weight, man. That upper body weight.
My calves are not impressive by any means.
They're
long, like you're talking about.
They'll get there.
Shut up.
I'm just telling you,
You're
man.
gonna stop trying to. Your fake encouragement. Oh, he'll get there.
They'll get there.
He'll get there.
Notice calves in older men. They're the more developed because they got the whole time to do it. And as you're getting heavier, you're working them calves, baby.
I'm over 50. I walk on my tippy toes.
I've walked on my tippy toes since I was like old enough to walk.
Is Adam Sandler on there? I thought I just heard him.
We'll start calling him Twinkle Toes over here.
Go ahead.
Hey, Twinkle Toes.
Light on my feet.
No, but Brian shared that yesterday, Craig, that somebody, what was it, prison? Like somebody brought up like nice calves, man.
He did
in prison?
Mm-hmm.
He does have some pretty impressive dad calves.
I would think in prison you wouldn't throw out those kind of compliments. You just kind of keep that to yourself.
We need to clip and send Brian this segment.
Yeah. See, I don't know if are prisoners like soldiers, because like soldiers they get super homoerotic.
Right.
In their
right. It's almost a game there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I used to work with this guy. He was a Marine. And it was so funny. He'd be up on a ladder and I'd be like, "Look at the glutes on that guy." I'd get everyone around. I'm like, "Everyone gather around. Just check out the glutes. That guy squats.
He must work out.
He must work out."
That's what I told Greg. He was riding his bike. I was like, "Yeah, look at the glutes on that guy."
All them hills, baby.
I have decent. I might not have good calves, but I have great glutes. They're striated right now, which is nice. But yeah,
I hear you.
Are you bragging? Are you going to show us? What are we doing?
Oh no. That's just for the
Just
music.
brag.
If you start playing some Flashdance music, I think you'll have some more comments in the comment section.
Got the Flashdance shirt ready to
Yeah,
go.
Gumtown John was saying that earlier in the comment section. So
Yeah.
I'll throw it up. It says Craig looks like he's wearing a sports bra under his shirt.
It's a stringer. Here, you know what? Watch this.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no,
Oh,
no,
Oh no.
no! This is
Get your dollar ready, Joey.
Well, it is almost June.
Look how ripped he is,
Like,
though. Good Lord.
Stop at the
Okay,
waist,
that's
huh?
that's impressive and ridiculous at the same time.
I hope that's not a unit.
Suck it, Gumptown John. I'm yoked. Deal with it.
That's impressive,
Very impressive.
man. And on the last
I am
day of
pretty
May,
watery.
we got to do that expose.
I am pretty watery right now. Like I said, on the way home from Atmore last night, I stopped and ate a family platter of, of Popeye's chicken.
Now, did
'cause-
you just do the chicken, or did you do the whole
No,
shebang?
it was biscuits and
Yeah.
fries too. and as I was telling these guys, I had to stop at every single exit on the way home because my gastrointestinal tract was not used to that level or quality of food.
You should have had more biscuits. It would have dried things up a little bit.
Maybe, possibly, but there, you know what's that Yellowhammer gas station on exit
Yeah.
69? I would like to apologize to the employees of the Yellowhammer gas station. For the noises that I'm sure sounded like a cow was dying in the middle of Fallujah.
Well,
there's a joke out there.
Keep your
but I'm not
comments to
gonna
yourself,
touch
Gumptown John.
Bring it. I like to see you get all riled up. That's hilarious. to me.
Yeah, brother.
Sorry,
Joe,
was I talking over Eric? I had my headphones off to remove my clothes.
No, you're not.
Okay, just making sure.
And then you
I
got
was
a new
hoping-
fan, Sweet D.
That's right.
Oh, Lord.
He posted, Craig Munger, I cannot get mad about anything while looking at you. I know you're married, but what a piece of arm candy. Joey, I have a new quote-unquote unavailable crush. I'm going to bring him books.
Well, I do love me some books, but I am also happily married. Thank you very much.
Oh, she knows.
She knows.
She likes to flirt.
Oh yeah, my wife digs all this. I am a great piece of arm candy.
Oh.
Walking into any sort of event with me, you immediately have status. Just saying.
Nice.
So, you hear that, love? I am a commodity.
Amongst the talk
never
radio
mind. I'm gonna leave
world.
that alone.
Well, Eric, I appreciate this call. That was the greatest prompt in a long time.
There you go. Y'all have a nice afternoon, fellas.
See you, dog.
Let's hit a quick break. Hopefully, we'll have Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics on the line after the break. But first, this part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy, and they can help you through the entire home buying process. Always start with pre-approval.
Exactly, Joey.
And go to a company like Alabama Home Mortgage that actually has pre-approvals worth the paper it's printed on. I mean, there's some folks that you do this fly-by-night stuff, you're getting the wrong deal.
Right.
We talked with Madeline last time she was here about actually getting the right credit scores and understanding how much you can afford. And that process, the pre-approval, through Alabama Home Mortgage helps you do that. And they'll walk with you every step of the way, all the way to closing day. Or it could be you're looking to refinance. And often the reason is you want to consolidate debt or get credit card debt off your back. Or it could just be you want a new financial beginning. Like you want to set different goals and you've got all this equity built up in your house.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great way to actually set yourself on a new path. Maybe you're reinvesting yourself, property, or your family members. Could be a kid's going off from college and going and starting a new city. You want to help them out. There are all sorts of reasons. Alabama Home Mortgage should help get to know you and help you think through all these goals of yours and your strategies. Give them a call today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Celebrate 20 years of biscuits with Saturday Max Fireworks at Riverwalk Stadium. Post-game fireworks will light up the night sky out past left field every home Saturday. Plus, we have special fireworks shows on opening night and the 4th of July. Check out the best fireworks show in Alabama on Saturday nights at Riverwalk Stadium. For tickets and information, visit biscuitsbaseball.com or call the box office at 323-BALL. Butter up!
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks, to News and Views in the afternoon. And I believe we have on the phone here the one, the only Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. 65 plus years here serving Montgomery and the surrounding areas. How you doing, Michael?
I'm great. How are y'all?
We're doing all right today. Been a show all over the place. Very serious and then very silly at the same time.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. People ask, what did you talk about today? I'm like, really? You should just go listen to the show. It's on YouTube. Like, if you're that interested. But
lots of hypocrisy, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started. But how's it going at Cohen's today?
It's going great. It's going great. Michael Jackson's out there earning his keep, making everybody happy with TVs. And my TV or my appliance techs are all out. And everybody's just rocking and rolling.
Well, I love hearing that. You know, it's summertime coming around. Well, it's kind of here already. And I think of summertime, I think of like grilling out. Like get the grill going, and you have many options in that regard, right?
Well, that's right. There's a lot of people that want to do the charcoal, and for those customers, it's the Kamado Joe. A lot of people want to do pellets, and they want Traeger. And we've got those as well. And then we've also got Napoleon, which is gas. And they also give you an option where you can do some charcoal in their gas grill.
Oh.
Plus they have the really cool, to me, that searing station, which gets up to 1,800 degrees, so you can sear your steak just like Ruth's Chris.
Man, I'm hungry already. And, of course, you can look at this stuff online at thinkcohens.com, but there's nothing like getting into the showroom, actually putting your hands on these grills, seeing how they operate, all the different accessories you all have there, too, as well, right?
Well, that's right. That's right. Because the accessories really make the grill, because everybody's got a different way that they want to cook or grill. And then we also have different things that we like to eat. So then sometimes you need different utensils and what have you.
There you go. So, folks, again, you can always go to thinkcohens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard here in Montgomery, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to stop by and find Michael or one of their great team members and say, hey, we heard Michael on the radio with those fellas.
Those fellas, yes, those fellas.
I was going to say those idiots, those morons, those anyway, I'm going to stop now. The self-hatred leaks out. I apologize.
No. Y'all do a good job.
Appreciate it, Michael. And we'll talk again next week. Have a good weekend.
See you, Michael.
Hey, you too. Take care.
I love ending a call with a chuckle with that fella. So we got a whole other hour to do.
All right.
Is there anything else to talk about? Oh, yeah. In the midst of everything going on, Biden comes out, does a press conference. Here's a ceasefire deal, and Israel should take it. Okay. Oh, by the way, the Ukrainians, he gave them secret permission. That was the headline for Politico. Secretly, he gave them permission to use American-made weapons inside of Russia.
Yep.
That won't escalate things unnecessarily,
Isn't secret permission to use weapons, isn't that exactly what got Ollie North
I remember
screwed
correctly.
over?
That was one of the big things there.
Well, that was I don't want to rehash.
Iran-Contra, no thank you. But I'm just saying, secret permission to use weapons and that kind of thing, it's been frowned upon in American history.
He's a Biden, and no one F's with a Biden.
Except for a time and age and
God.
Can't get here quick enough.
Your daughter's diary.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to stick either, which is
no.
sad.
Isn't it so funny how some politicians just seem to be made out of Teflon? Possibly even politicians in charge of the very area that we're sitting in.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's like they can't do anything to cause their base to shift against them. It's impressive to see.
It really is.
I mean, Trump has the same level of loyalty amongst his followers, for sure. But I condemn both the unthinking dedication to a political candidate, especially one that's just so dramatically unsuccessful, like Biden and like certain other people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to hit this top of the hour break. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has slammed the jury's verdict in former President Trump's New York criminal case, calling it profoundly undemocratic. The independent presidential candidate warning it will backfire against Democrats in November. Security authorities foiling a plan to attack soccer events during the Paris Olympics. An 18-year-old man from Chechnya has been arrested. The Paris Olympics will begin July 26th. In consumer news, Tesla recalling more than 125,000 vehicles. It's in order to fix a seatbelt warning system that may increase the risk of an injury in a collision. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is ahead 248 points, but NASDAQ losing 222 points. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty-free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. If you have weekend plans, be flexible. The rain chances are going to be higher both days. For tonight, the rain chances 20% or less, with a low temperature tonight down to about 67. But for tomorrow and Sunday, as the new month of June begins, random scattered showers and thunderstorms both days, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. 87 the high on Saturday, 84 on Sunday, and more scattered storms on Monday and Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
1819 News.
The U.S. Department of Labor has filed a complaint with a federal judge that involves 2 Alabama companies and the illegal employment of children. The lawsuit named Hyundai Motor Manufacturing as the defendant, along with the 2 supporting companies that are based here in the state. The U.S. Labor Department is asking for the federal judge to force all 3 companies to give up profits made during the time that child labor was employed on the assembly line. The Labor Department investigated the situation and found a 13-year-old was working more than 50 hours a week on machines that formed auto body parts. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
An Andalusia man is behind bars at the Covington County Jail for attacking his mother with a machete. 44-year-old Ashley Moore is facing elder abuse charges for striking his mother in the head with that large knife. This occurred after the 2 got into an argument. The woman has been treated for a head injury and released. Tuskegee University has a new president and CEO. Dr. Mark Brown will officially take the office on July 1st. Brown will be stepping in as Dr. Charlotte Morris retires after being the university president for almost 40 years. Brown is a graduate from Tuskegee back in 1986, where he got a degree in accounting. Brown went on to earn several master's degrees as well as a PhD in education from Baylor University. Brown also served for 32 years in the Air Force, retiring as a major general. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Bates House of Turkey is celebrating their first anniversary in Montgomery and 100 years in business with a renovated Montgomery location. Come enjoy the famous hickory smoked turkey sandwiches, the old-fashioned roast turkey dinners, and their expanded grab-and-go frozen casseroles and soups. There's plenty of room for small groups in the expanded dining room. Order online at BatesHouseOfTurkey.com. Dine-in, carry-out, and delivery services available. Bates House of Turkey in Montgomery is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eat turkey. Feel turkey.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And, joining us now here on the live stream, he usually joins us by phone, but we have Jeff Deist joining us. Jeff, how you doing today?
Hey, Joey, I'm good. How are you?
Great. So, I credit you earlier in the show with,
as you should.
Yeah, well, of course.
I don't know what it was, but you should.
With the line that politics has dropped its pretenses. And I'm like, dadgum, if anything, proved Jeff Deist was right. It was this conviction of Trump. What do you make of this moment in American history?
I saw a tweet yesterday by the senator from Connecticut, Chris Murphy, left-wing guy. He said, look, it doesn't matter that it's a minor crime. He's a criminal and he was convicted and nobody's above the law and he'll be convicted of more crimes, right? This sort of, platitudinous approach to things. And of course, nobody really believes that. We all understand that there's selective prosecutions. I mean, this city of Montgomery does this all day, every day, right? Police respond to something bad's happened. A decision is made sort of on the spot by the police officer. If he or she refers it up, a decision is made by the prosecutor. that decision may or may not be challenged. That may or may not go to court and trial. If it does, it goes to an appellate court, maybe the Supreme Court in some circumstances. I mean, this is all selective, and we get that. And so the idea that there's never, ever been a case where a purported violation of a federal campaign law served as a predicate for a state conviction. I mean, look, we used to say Americans are watching two different movies. I think that was never more true than yesterday. And so when a U.S. senator, and you could accuse Katie Britt on your show earlier today of the same thing, but from the other side is that they're not even pretending. It's like, look, this is how it is, and this is a purely political prosecution, and it's an outrageous attempt by the Biden administration or the left more generally to quash a main political figure on the right. That's one narrative. The other narrative is no, he's a criminal. Just because he's president, he doesn't get any different treatment. If he's guilty, he's guilty, and that's the rule of law. So obviously, I'm seeing this far more like Senator Britt. That's my personal vantage point. But maybe the bigger issue here is that nobody's pretending anymore. There's no attempt on either side.
And I shared earlier, I don't have it right in front of me, a Murray Rothbard quote, where, as to paraphrase, if you want to understand the libertarian mindset, just assume the government is like a criminal organization and everything else follows logically. And yet, in this moment where everybody should be understanding these insights that have been from Mr. Libertarian Rothbard to so many in that tradition, you now have the party with the name Libertarian Party with this character named Chase Oliver who's just nominated. I mean, what do you make of that convention that just happened, and what a lost opportunity it is to kind of get this message out there to folks, especially in these times?
Yeah, it's such a strange environment. Trump is deeply unpopular with a big segment of the population. Biden is obviously deeply unpopular with a big segment of the population. So you'd think that would create some daylight for a third party or an independent candidate like RFK. Unfortunately, I think he shot himself in the foot a couple times, especially with this crazy woman he nominated to be his vice president. That just unbelievable. I mean, insider, to put it mildly. And so, I would like to see a third party. I'd like to see the Libertarian Party, the Constitution Party, somebody put forth a candidate who is really good on economics, anti-war, et cetera. It seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And, I've been around the circle some, and I've never done the deep dive in because it usually ends up being something silly like this. And I guess we'll see. Though I have to say, to his credit, Dave Smith kind of owned this, saying that the Mises Caucus was sort of his baby. If he had run for president, things might have been a little different. Though I have to, at the end of the day, say Dave made the right decision not running. Just stay home.
Right. We no longer live in a country where anyone thinks that a comedian can't run for president. Right. That's not how things work anymore. Now, if you have some name ID and some fame, you can run for president. I think Dave's a great guy. People who've seen him on Rogan, some of your audience may be familiar with him. Very smart guy, really well read, really good on his feet. It's sort of one of these interesting characters that has created in the modern era, used social media and digital platforms to create a persona of sorts and to gain notoriety without having a university or a particular think tank or a particular employer behind him. In other words, he just sort of created his name ID on his own, which is the way the world's going, right? We don't have to listen to the CNNs and the MSNBCs anymore. We don't have to listen to the Harvards anymore. We have all kinds of voices out there. And I think Dave is an incredible representation of that new media figure as it develops.
Well, and thinking about Dave Smith, I believe today, I'll be watching this when I get home, he's debating Chris Cuomo on Patrick Bet-David's programming. And what do you make of, say, Chris Cuomo, Don Lemon, there are a few others we could throw out that were in corporate media who have tried to make this shift into the newer media? Tucker, I guess, is the most prominent. But it's interesting how some of them have a true following and some of them, they were just a potted plant on corporate TV.
Yes, I would say Don Lemon is a potted plant on his very best day. Potted plants don't talk, which is a huge virtue of theirs. They sit there and appear. But yeah, it is interesting. And let's not forget that there is in a sense, an early trailblazer here, Glenn Beck.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn Beck had a huge audience on Fox. He was drawing something like 3 to 5 million people a night. And so before we had all the platforms we have today, like a Patrick Bet David, for example, or he left Fox under I don't recall the circumstances, and he had made so much money as a host back then that he spent, I think, either tens or maybe hundreds of millions of his own dollars to build out an entire physical studio called The Blaze in Texas, and all that infrastructure. And now that almost seems quaint. That almost seems like a mistake to have all that centralized physical brick and mortar infrastructure when new media is so nimble and shifting platforms constantly. And we view him no longer as on the cutting edge, but he was a pioneer there. Now, I think Tucker has lost some eyeballs since leaving Fox, but what he's gained is a different kind of eyeball. It's a younger demographic. It's more of a self-selecting demographic. And then you can go, Joe Rogan's probably on that level. I mean, who would have thought Joe Rogan's he was on some sitcoms. He's famous for his work with the UFC and MMA. And, who would have guessed that 5 or 10 years ago? And so, you could say that there are all these platforms, all these various interview shows like Rogan, like Patrick David, that are literally drawing far more views than a primetime cable show, 8 to 9 p.m., let's say, on one of the big cable networks. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
It is incredible. And you bringing up Glenn Beck really brought back memories. Glenn Beck's the man I would credit inspire me to do this, to get into talk radio, to get into the media commentary space. And I remember when he left Fox, and I've just out of support, even though I don't always and haven't watched for a while, I still get a $10 draw, I think, for a Blaze Media subscription because I wanted to support him all the way back then. And I've never had the chance to meet Glenn, though. The magic of Twitter, I think I tweeted at him, I don't know whether I should curse you or praise you for inspiring me to get into talk radio now that I'm a decade in, and he reacted to it a little bit. But it is amazing the folks who are almost, that's a whole story in business and entrepreneurship too, the folks who were right but they were maybe too early. There's a lot of folks like that who saw where the world was going, but, like the guy who bought a pizza with 80,000 Bitcoins. It's like, good idea, I guess, but you kind of wasted it there.
Yeah, I think Tucker is definitely going to be the bellwether for this. Does he survive? Does he grow? Does he gain audience share? And one of the problems there is, he needs to almost produce an interview every day, right? That's right. The demand of the new social media world is just constant new content, and you can never rest. And so that forces him sometimes, in my view anyway, to do some interviews that are less engaging or more marginal, just to feed the beast.
Right.
And the U.S. attention span has shrunk, but you can consume Tucker pretty much whenever you want to on a variety of platforms. You don't have to consume it live. I guess he's on X Live, but unlike back in the day, your either your cable news or your national news, one of the networks, or your local news, that was all very structured. It's at 6:30 at night, then 7 at night. It was that half an hour. And if you didn't catch that, maybe there was one at 11. You didn't catch that, your morning newspaper came on your doorstep at 6 o'clock or whatever. But that everything was a lot more regimented and a lot more narrow. And so now we can all consume what we want when we want.
Well, and this leads to interesting schisms, I would say, in terms of what politics is motivating people. So when I think of Tucker or Patrick Bet David, especially Bet David hiring over like Candace Owens, I think of that split in the conservative movement where, put the Daily Wire guys on one side of, say, Tucker at this point. And it's an old fight, right? One that William F. Buckley school won years ago. But now the sort of National Review types, or now I would call it the Daily Wire types, don't have a monopoly on the microphone. And it seems to be driving at least conservative politics in a really fascinating direction. I would say also a direction you and I might welcome.
Sure, because the gatekeepers have been gone around. Nobody needs National Review in 2024. I couldn't even really name any of the big writers there. Now in 19 '84, a lot of people could tell you, the National Review writers, and William F. Buckley was still alive. There was still an intellectual cadre. The conservative side, the right side, has always prided itself, rightly or wrongly, in having this sort of intellectual bent to it. And I think that's just out the window. I mean, at this point, there's a Trumpy right and a never Trump right. And those are that's the broad schism. And then, the question becomes who wins that and why. And fortunately, it appears that there is a growing impulse on the right to stop having these endless wars, this constant military intervention overseas that costs so much money, kills so many people, not only, amongst our own soldiers, but abroad, all these endless VA victims. And, that was something that the Buckleyite right, and its vestiges today, the neocons, tried to tamp down forever. That's why they had to create the Cold War and the Soviet boogeyman, because World War II was over and they needed something new to fight.
And it's great seeing it's frustrating, and there's tragedies, and there's a lot of nonsense and hypocrisy out there, especially, again, as we started with politics dropping its pretenses. But there are, I would say, rays of hope. At least I try to remain hopeful that the future looks bright. But I want to end and get you out of here with this. I've been blessed, I would say, to be in a position now where I'm starting to think, how do I allocate money to save value for the future? Of course, I'm very much bought into Bitcoin. My only holdout on that is, what's the government going to continue to do, or governments of the world? But you, of course, are the general counsel for Monetary Metals. And I just wanted to ask you straight up, as somebody who's trying to, allocate money in ways, how could I use Monetary Metals maybe to do something like that?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people who think like us have been critical of the Fed, have been critical of government deficit spending for a long time, and said, this can't last. It's 20 trillion, it's 30 trillion. It was only 1 trillion when Reagan took office. It was only 5 trillion when W was in office, took office. So that gives you some perspective for the older listeners in your audience. And, the question becomes, when is this concern about debt and government overspending, when does that mean gold goes to $5,000 an ounce or something like that? Well, I don't think it does that anytime soon. But you really do see that people are worried about just holding dollars. If you just have dollars in your bank account, that's kind of a scary thing at the moment, when prices are really going up probably 10%. So, I mean, one thing anyone can do is you can go out right now and get money markets with big companies, the Vanguards of the world. They're at least paying 5.5. Okay. So if you're a cynic like us and you think inflation's 10, well, at least you've halved your losses by holding cash in that form. So if you're holding some extra cash, and fewer people are these days, we see that credit card balances are rising and loan delinquencies are rising. So people's cash balances are not what they were during COVID, to put it mildly. But if you do have the good fortune to have some excess cash, I mean, at least start with that. And yes, beyond that, I don't like to tout gold, but I would say precious metals and have a lot of attraction right now. I think we're seeing that in the underlying spot price of gold and silver. I mean, it's not that any of us are geniuses and we can see the future, or we don't. Obviously, we don't know. The question is just, do you trust governments and central banks around the world to do the right thing? I think, at least for the near future, the answer is no.
Well, I would encourage folks, because I am looking into it, just trying to figure out ways to keep value over time and build slowly but surely. Kind of like this show, build slowly but surely. And Monetary Metals is definitely something to check out. And as always, I appreciate your time, Jeff, really do. And I like doing this on the stream. It's a good flow.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Joey.
Thank you, Jeff. And folks, that is Jeff Deist. He is general counsel there at Monetary Metals, like I was saying. But he, for a while, was the president of the Mises Institute there in Auburn, Alabama, and also chief of staff for then Congressman Ron Paul for a time. Always appreciate his time here on the show. 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. That's 272-9228. Seriously, this has been such a crazy news cycle. As we were saying before the break, guys, like, you see Biden giving permission that, okay, those ATACMS missiles that the United States gave to Ukraine. Yeah, not only can you now just strike Crimea and other areas Russia's taken, say in the Donbass region, you can strike in deep into Russia. Go hit more oil refineries. There won't be any blowback from this. And my worry since the start of this war has been like, what does winning look like? And I had that thought because you look at Iraq, you look at Afghanistan, you look at Libya, you look at the whole Arab Spring saga. You look at so many things that the U.S. government has done, in particular the State Department, CIA interest, and it often is, it seems to be making it up as they go along. And it's one thing to kind of muddle through a war when it's a country like Iraq that has no chance of hitting you back. When it's a country like Libya that's a basket case and could be knocked over pretty easily. Yeah, it's still going to end in tragedies, people being displaced, a lot of people getting injured and killed, but it's not the same thing as you're going up against, if not a near peer competitor. You're going up against a nuclear power, and you're backing them into a corner with no clear definition of what winning looks like. I don't see why they're doing this. Maybe the point is just to escalate and see what happens. I don't know. Any help here? Like, I have no clue. Why are they doing this?
I think I think they're R-worded children playing in a sandbox whose hubris has not allowed them to understand the weightiness and the significance of what they're doing. They sort of just think, we're America, we can give money and guns to whoever we want. There won't ever be any blowback. And then when we have a 9/11, everyone's just looking around like, well, why did this happen?
Right. And now give them more money and power.
Oh, why did this happen? They hate our freedom. That's what it is. Nah, not at all.
Yeah, it's just, it's frustrating that in the midst of all the sound and fury of the politics of the moment, the actual underlying realities of, like, structural realities, what we're doing with monetary policy and the constant printing of money and more inflation hurting everyday people, what we're doing pushing ourselves all over the globe. When you look at Taiwan, I take seriously, for instance, Neil Ferguson. He said Taiwan very likely could be a replay of the Cuban Missile Crisis, except now the U.S. is playing the role of the Soviet Union. So China doesn't do a full-scale invasion, they just do a blockade. Just to put pressure. What's the United States do? And if we're playing the part of the Soviet Union, we blink.
Yeah.
And it also makes sense, too. I get tired of the preachiness of it. Like, the United States behaved in certain ways as we were rising as a power. Why are you surprised that Russia or China or anybody else is behaving in a certain way to advance their interests? And I'm not full-on libertarian on this. I'm not necessarily against, if you can sufficiently create the means and methods to deter that, or to stop them actually win the damn fight, okay, convince us and win the damn fight. But when you tell me we can win every fight at all the times, I don't believe you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the thing. It's like, do you think you can win? You know,
Yeah.
you're kind of poking a bear, pun intended, with its paws on the nuclear button, and you're treating it with a level of flippancy that is irresponsible.
It's unreal.
It's very unreal.
So we'll see where that goes. Biden also endorsing an Israeli proposal for Gaza ceasefire, saying that Hamas has now been degraded to the point where they could never do another attack like they did on October the 7th, and time to shut things down and have some peace here.
Yeah, blowing up all their residential areas, I'm sure, won't lead to any more terrorists, you know.
It's just
never happens. It didn't happen in Afghanistan, didn't happen in Libya, didn't happen in Iraq, didn't happen in, did I say Libya? Let me say Libya again. In Lebanon, all of this stuff that we've, continuously meddled in. It's never had blowback.
And we'll see what the Israeli government does. I know Netanyahu's feeling the squeeze right now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not from any sort of calculated politicking by Joe Biden.
That's Benny Gantz, who I say is really putting the squeeze on Netanyahu. Yeah. So within Israel, so we'll see where it goes. But it's just like, I look at that guy giving the press conference, Joe Biden, and I'm like, he doesn't inspire confidence. And Eddie, do you remember the show we did where we were watching him do the inaugural address? Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, okay, maybe the adults are back in the room. You can prove you're actual adults by results. And what are the results now that we're almost 4 years into this thing?
It's awful.
It's awful.
And as far as the whole going to war with Russia deal. To me, look what they did last time to make sure that SOB won. They'll do anything to keep them in the power. Send our sons off to war, send our daughters off to war. That doesn't bother this old fart.
Right.
I got nothing for him. Just trying to be nice.
I have a lot for him.
I think y'all both mean the same thing. Let's hit this break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. If you have weekend plans, be flexible. The rain chances are going to be higher both days. For tonight, the rain chance is 20% or less, with a low temperature tonight down to about 67. But for tomorrow and Sunday, as the new month of June begins, random scattered showers and thunderstorms both days, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. 87 the high on Saturday, 84 on Sunday, and more scattered storms on Monday and Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. How about a palate cleanser? Because today we've had some fun, but it's been pretty heavy today. Yeah. Oh, sorry, your mic's off.
Yeah, you made it heavy. It's all you.
No, I admit I have some heaviness to me, and I'm not just talking about my girth.
Oh.
Which is true, but I'm under 220 now.
Congratulations.
Weighed in at 219.
Congratulations.
Well, it's 2 days in a row, 219. But
Bravo.
yeah, it's like, all right, getting somewhere with it. Just keep on chipping away. But here's the palate cleanser. I don't know how old this clip is, but it's a woman on some morning show. It sounds almost Australian, but she says, my dog turned vegetarian and we haven't looked back.
Love this clip.
Yeah, it's one of the classics.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen this?
Beautiful clip.
Well, hold on to your butts. Let's watch this.
And she seemed to perk up, be a lot happier.
Does she like it
generally.
straight away? Like you put that food down, she doesn't turn her nose up?
She likes
or-
more of the wet food type thing.
Yeah.
It's more palatable as she's drinking those water.
More, is this Australian or British? They might be British.
I think it's British.
But the dog's just sitting there in the studio, and what they're about to do is have some producer come put 2 bowls in front of the vegetarian dog. Oh, she's been more energetic and
Forced vegetarian.
Let's
dog.
keep watching.
But no, really took to it.
2 bowls here, right?
Oh, no.
One is full of vegetables and one is full of meat.
Oh,
Storm, Storm,
Right.
Storm, we
Don't
hate
tell
to
her
put the
loose.
temptation in front of you,
You
but
ready
it's
for
up to you.
lunch, Storm?
Right? Let her go.
Should I let her go?
Let her go.
Oh, she's obviously going to go. Obviously. Oh, you little...
Yes. There is the selection.
Surprise, surprise. Good Lord.
The dog clearly chooses the meat.
So if you were this dumb that you were going to force your dog to be a vegetarian and then put it on TV, would you have not done the test first?
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
I love, too, how the dog fakes out, goes sniffs the veggies, goes back to the
this
meat.
crap,
Well,
fresh
I mean,
meat.
Well, I mean, you can give both actually. Like, I mean, I
Oh,
make
yeah,
my-
you
my
got to
dog-
give a mix.
Yeah. My dog eats sweet potatoes and rice, even, and regular potatoes and carrots.
Oh, dogs love everything.
Yeah, but you mix it in with like some beef fat and some actual like.
Dude, they're all over that, man.
They eat the snot out of it.
Yep, they are all
chicken,
over it.
like so you know me, I cook a buttload of chicken
Mhm.
and eat it throughout the day and throughout the week. And he loves, like, I'll give him little chunks of my chicken. We make our own dog treats too. It's beef
Oh,
fat.
bake 'em?
What now?
Do you bake 'em? I've seen
Yeah,
people-
bake
yeah.
them. We have those little molds, and
Yeah.
so it's beef fat, peanut butter, and sweet potatoes.
That actually sounds good.
I guarantee you, it's better than anything you can buy at the store.
Pretty much.
No, seriously,
No
I
doubt,
would eat
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, I've tried them. So it's you blend up some oats to make like a flour.
Okay.
And then you mix in the sweet potato and then the peanut butter and the beef fat.
Sounds good.
Maybe a little bit of honey in there as well.
Could you bring those treats in and let's just do a taste test?
They're
Just
actually
amongst the
not bad.
fellas here.
We don't salt them. That's the only problem. Is
I need some salt.
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
some salt. But
Yeah.
dogs, they don't need too
Right,
much sodium.
right.
So
You know, well, I'll admit something. I got some to cook steaks. I did when the family came with my little
Mhm.
niece came came down with my brother here. So adorable. That was a great weekend. I got some Wagyu beef fat, beef tallow from the store.
Mhm.
And, I cooked the steaks up. And the other day, though, I was reading it. And it's like you can do it with baked goods and even desserts or, of course, sear things. Or you can put it on your popcorn. And when I read that, I'm like,
Really?
I'm going to the store now and getting popcorn. And I might have done that. Like, I'm still losing weight, but I might have done
How
that
was-
like 3 nights.
How was the taste, though? Was
It's
it
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like, it's different than butter, but
Right.
it's so good. Like, real tasty, man.
It sounds very tempting, actually.
Yeah, go. Publix has the Wagyu beef fat.
yeah, I'd like to fry some bread and some Wagyu beef fat. Yeah.
There's a sweetness to it. It's almost like it's still beef, but it's like got a little what you expect a pork
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's unique, really unique. Anyway, I can't believe this dumb woman.
Dude,
it's just forcing your dog to be a vegetarian.
There's a TikTok out there of a girl, and honestly, I hate saying it, but she seems to be British too, but she does the same thing, but she does the test just to prove to everyone. And then, of course, the dog goes right towards the meat. And she starts screaming, trying to snatch the dog away, and he's doing all he can do to keep his face in that bowl.
Same with cats. Like if
Oh,
you ever
cats
see a
are-
vegan cats. It's,
Come on, let's be
yeah.
honest.
Cats are predators.
You don't
man.
feed a cat long enough, he's going to eat you.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I don't feed my cats quite as good as my dog because I want their outdoor cats.
Right,
and I want them to.
they got a job to do.
I saw my one of my cats was just walking down and he had a bird in his mouth.
Yeah.
I'm like, how'd you get that bird? I wanted to see the bird, and then he took off. He was like, no, that's my bird.
Yeah, I love it. The other morning, Bob greeted me at the door with a chipmunk. We have no chipmunks at our house, so I think he went to the neighbor's house and did a little hunting.
Dude, one day I come out to my porch, and there's a hind leg attached to a tail with a few entrails. They mollywop the mice and the rats, because we live out kind of in the woods.
Yeah.
So there's some mice and there's rats and there's also moles.
Yeah,
they mollywop those poor things.
But I'm just like you. You don't feed them too much because you want them to be hungry. I need them out there working.
Yeah,
I need them out there working.
So y'all both have outdoor cats?
Yeah, well, mine do. They come and
well,
go.
y'all. I know both of your living arrangement. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, if you raise them for the first several months of their life inside with frequent trips outdoors, and then you eventually just leave them outdoors, they have the ability to do both. So they'll slaughter animals and moles and mice, and then they'll just come in and snuggle up to my bed.
No, I'm thinking of
serial killers.
Well, and also I'm thinking of like neighborhoods. Like I would hear it in Forest Hills when I lived there. Like
hear the cats
y'all
hollering.
both have areas where they have a lot of room to run.
Sure.
And probably aren't going to be messed with. Whereas in a
Yeah,
neighborhood,
coyotes.
you're talking about cats fight.
Oh, yeah, you hear that
constantly
all
for
night
their
long.
territory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their lifespan goes way down if they're outdoor cats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And-
I mean, the only thing that we have to worry about is coyotes. But again, the cats are typically fast. They can get away from them. You
I
know,
think
they
we
climb up a tree.
had a kitten or a cat taken either by a coyote or a hawk. We really couldn't decide because we've seen both of them so much around there.
Yeah.
But that was a couple years ago. Since that, we honestly, I hate saying this, we have put a little weight on the cats to make them look a little beefier to try to keep that stuff away. But I have no snakes. I live on the water.
Wow.
Hadn't seen a snake. I couldn't. Last year or 2 years ago, I saw one on the pier, blasted him. But we just don't have that outdoor crap that people are like, oh, I don't want to be on the lake. You got all these animals around, snakes, this, that, and the other. I'm like, get 2 cats. You don't have any of that problem.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was good going down this road because I'm tired of yelling about the old man pooping his pants, Joe Biden.
It happens, Joey.
Well, getting us into flirting with thermonuclear
Yeah.
war.
Just, I still don't understand how we can, as a society, accept him as our leader and we just pretend.
Well,
it's
because
all
the
good.
other guy sucks so much.
But he don't poop his pants.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a mean tweeter.
Right.
That's the frustrating thing about it is you'll see the discourse online and someone saying, hey, Joe Biden did X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, Trump did. It's like, screw both of them. How about that?
I said this the other day and got Trump people mad at me.
Oh.
And it's like, hey, gun to my head, I'm probably going with Trump. And then also it's foregone conclusion here in Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, if I really had to make the choice, I'd go with Trump. But, like, let's stop pretending like this.
2 old men.
Yeah.
The structural problems in our government are going to take a massive cultural shift. Like, actual revolution, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I'm not calling for violent insurrection, but it's going to take something big.
It's really, I'm just looking, I'm thinking, really, we're telling the world this is the best
It's the best we got.
Right.
This is the best we have.
And
Like
let's be
Donald
honest.
Trump, he seems like a fairly intelligent man, but he has a lot of significant character flaws.
Sure.
And it's like, really, this is the best that we have? We have a dementiated old fart who literally looks like he's wasting away day by day. And then we have Donald Trump, the womanizer who almost certainly has some sprinkling of narcissism in there and
No
pride
doubt.
and hubris and all this. It's like, this is the best that we have. This is the best that we can do.
I hate it. It's the best of our 2 options.
Yeah.
Is Donald Trump, and I support Donald Trump 100%. But let's be honest, I see him as the best option we have. I don't think he's the end all be all by no means. But if I'm looking at 2 old men that can get me out of this tight, kind of putting Donald Trump.
It's like Thomas Sowell walks this earth currently, and he's like 1,000,000. And I would climb over the corpses of everyone in the Trump and Biden cabinet to make him the president. Like I would carry him and just like step on all the dead bodies just to plop him in that desk and be like, fix it for the love of God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are some amazing minds and capable people. That's why I was so disappointed in the reaction to Vivek by some.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Man, look at this guy. Like,
What kills me though is
Damn near perfect.
when I hear this from older people. It's just not their time.
oh,
That just
Lord.
infuriates
and now
me.
is your time?
It just infuriates me because I hear that completely different. I hear it as I can't elect that boy.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I hear. And I cannot, white, black, purple, yellow, that's what I hear. And I cannot stand that.
Now, it's always interesting to go down memory lane. And this was all the way back in what, like 82, I think. Or it was
82.
No, he was 1988. Donald Trump was 42 years old. And look at Oprah. Well, she goes through phases.
Look at that hair, though.
But let's listen into this. Her asking, would you ever run for president?
Would you ever? Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also,
it
doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
Wow.
I'm agreeing with him 100%. And plus, Oprah looks a little rough there. Remember the movie Color Purple? Looks like she just stepped off the set. Look at that hair.
Yeah, is she method?
It's telling you, man.
It's like which time of that was which fat phase was that of hers? Because she went through so many like.
Well, and there's another clip of Trump kind of early on, people asking him, would you ever run for office? And he says, no, it seems like such a mean life. Which, coming from Trump, but he's right. And what is amazing is, Trump was always the outsider to the Cool Kids Club.
Yeah.
Despite his money and all the stuff he did. But he was kind of loved by all sorts
He
of
was
different
loved by
people.
everybody until he said, I'm going to run for president.
Dude, do you remember that? Do you remember the Comedy Central roast that they did? It
Yes.
was a whole big thing. Everyone
Yes.
loved him. Snoop Dogg loved him. You know, it was a whole big thing. And then all of a sudden, he's Hitler.
Yep.
It's
Right.
bizarre.
Well, and it just shows how artificial so much of, the reaction in the media that's thrown out there is. 272-9228. Let's go to Papa B, who's been patient. Hey, Papa B.
Hey, guys. I'm still tripping over these vegetarian dogs, these poor dogs. Oh, my gosh. And the dog is like, dude, I'm starving to death. This woman won't feed me anything but carrots, peas and carrots. You know, it's a touch of animal cruelty. I mean, they are omnivores, but let's face it, they need the meat too, you know? So,
Yeah, you see a dog like that, it's like, give him a nice shepherd's pie with a bunch, like just a big pot pie, something.
good night. Poor guy.
No,
Anyway,
Kitty,
so-
it's my papa. Sorry, that just came to my mind.
So, y'all, I know there's this sentiment out there that, well, the Biden administration is just naive and fumbling and stumbling their way to World War III, but I truly just don't buy it, dude. I mean, you know, they can play that game all they want to, but I think this is their plan. They need a war. They've been trying desperately for, well, I say they, Obama first, now Biden, and the rest, to get us in a civil war forever. The last 20 years, I say. Sort of that, you know, World War II, World War III, that would solve the problem too. Not just to cover up their crimes, but to reconsolidate their power. This is how they became empowered, you know, back in the Roosevelt years. I mean, war and poverty, man, yeah, this is their go-to standard operating procedure. So it's bumbling and stumbling and no. They're doing it on purpose, hoping that it would go ahead and launch into a world war. Don't doubt it. That's just how evil they are. Anyway, well, listen, I hope y'all have a great weekend. Eddie, I'm going to be up around the lake cooking me some steak, so I might see if y'all want to come over or something.
All right, give me a holler. The only thing we got to do is dodge thunderstorms all weekend, I think, up there.
I think so. But
That's lake life, baby.
all right, guys, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Papa B.
See you, Papa B.
Yep.
Let's go to Randall. Hey, Randall.
Well, that was a warm inviting. Welcome onto the show. How you doing?
What up, Randall?
What up? Hello, Craig. I seen Craig this other day up at the P a couple of days ago. He told me because I want to make sure that. And you know, Craig, since you brought that up, you know, as many stories you cover, murders, ain't nobody killing nobody, taking their clothes off, sticking them in the trunk. They just, I mean, if you take clothes off, if you park them anywhere that you can take them off, you at least gonna leave them where you took them off at. If not, back them up and chunk them in the water. I mean, with a brick in it. I understand he ain't sticking it in no trunk. I mean, you know that, so I understand where your heart was, wanting to sit with that family, knowing that the jury probably might have should have, you know what I mean, went in a few more hours on that one. Because, man, that's a tough one. And if you just stop reading what Joy stopped reading that, then it sounds like, you know what I mean, yeah, you should have hung him up, shot him 10 times. But then when you finish it, you know what I mean, it gives a whole nother view. And yeah, sitting down in that chair, but when I saw him in Piggly Wiggly, he's a tall one. And so, man, Craig, it was good to see you. So, and then, but I wanted to say the same thing is happening in India that is happening or fixing to happen here in America, and we're the cause of. We actually pushed this boy to get locked up, and I really can't say his name all the way, but it's Amrit Pal Singh. He's 31. They locked him up, and they locked him up 3,000 miles away from his home where they was trying to do what we want to do. We want to, you know, in everybody's mind, we need to separate, start over. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, I heard it all day. Liberals on one side, you know what I mean? Y'all have the pink hair, the pink parades, and you know what I mean? Kill the babies, and we'll come on this side. They're doing the same thing right now, and tomorrow they go and elect this. They're going up for election, and this boy's locked up. And everywhere in his hometown, man, you ought to see the posters. They got him holding swords. They got him with bulletproof vests on. They doing the same thing. Guess why they had to do it? Because the United States got in their business. So we are reaping what we sow all over the world. And you can look all this up. This ain't no hidden fact. It ain't nothing you gotta go pay for. You just gotta go look up. You need to go punch in. And this is the Secret Service is what led me to this. The Secret Service is coming up with this new thing called the jail plan. And it's for presidents to get locked up. What did they do in the future? And so once you punch in the jail plan, you got to go down, I don't know, probably about 8-10 different stories, and then you're going to get to this this story that about him and about this cat. So that's the way I got to it. It wasn't even really like, it wasn't nothing that it just fell in my lap. I mean, you know how the universe is, Joy.
Yeah, but and also this has been the norm in most governments in human history. Sad.
Yeah, when it getting took over like this.
Well, no, I'm saying
it started with religion over there. That's exactly what happened. They call it a separate. It's a religion they're trying to separate from the religion that took over. And the same thing is happening right here. I mean, they do it all over the world. You're right. And so we only seen it I'm only seeing it for the first time in the human body right here this time. So yeah, if we look at it and it's all over, but are we just gonna let it happen here, or are we gonna stand up? That'd be the question, I guess.
Well, we'll see, Randall. I appreciate the call, man.
See you, Randall.
Right, bro.
Love you, bro.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Elon Musk tweeted out a little before noon, the proscriptions of Marius led to the proscriptions of Sulla. Yep. No, a lot of human history is this, if not outright civil war, it's criminalizing your political opponents, and it's just, what a time. Like I said at the beginning of the show, try to relish it, embrace it. Don't be too frustrated by it. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
It's Johnny from Sinclair's on Vaughn Road. We've been in business almost 30 years.
Sinclair's East, Vaughn at Taylor.
I think if you hadn't tried us, you should give us a try. We've got a great menu, offered anything from chicken fingers, wings, salads, fajitas. At lunchtime, we do great country lunch with different vegetables and different meats every day.
Sinclair's, where you get great sandwiches and our daily meat and 3 special at lunch, to great pasta, chicken, steaks, and seafood for dinner.
Our most popular items are, we got a soup called she crab soup, which is extremely popular. We've got a bunch of pasta dishes, which people love. Mediterranean chicken is my favorite.
Sinclair's.
We do live music, light stuff on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then on Fridays and Saturdays, maybe 3-piece bands or 4-piece bands.
Come see why Sinclair's has seen lesser restaurants come and go over the years. Johnny Sullivan Sinclair's, at the corner of Vaughn and Taylor. Find them on Facebook at Sinclair's East. Google search Sinclair's Restaurant. Sinclair's.
This is Frank Bertorelli. We'd like to take time out to thank Blue Water Broadcasting for their years of help in growing our business. Over 25 years with Zap Pest Control and still growing thanks to Blue Water Broadcasting.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true.
Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bell's today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bell's Cleaning River Region.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and go to Chad at Prattville Carpet. Hey, Chad, how you doing today?
Hey, guys, doing good. How about y'all?
We're like a hair and a biscuit, buddy.
It is Friday, and it is almost the weekend, right?
That's
Almost. Just like 4 minutes left for me.
I'm telling you what, that's a great feeling. Even more of a great feeling is getting some new floors down. So
Yeah,
give
man.
us a shout. And, man, we've got great deals on carpet and vinyl plank right now. We've got some it's a really neat product. It's a green product. It's called Pure Tech. And then another one called Solid Tech. It's a really, really good LVP type floor. It's new on the market. It's really good looking, and it's a really great price. And now when Ray's out of town is a perfect time to come in because we can, kind of give you a deal that, what he don't know does not necessarily hurt him.
That's right.
So y'all call up 285-8117 today. Again, that's 285-8117. And when you call them, be sure to say, hey, I heard Chad on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Absolutely, yeah. And, Ray's got a face for the radio, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I was about to say, we can leave it there.
If you want,
That's
now,
it.
you can come on down the
So,
studio and you can come on down the studio. We got cameras. We can find out if you got the old face
Yeah,
for radio there,
absolutely.
buddy.
That's right. I probably need to stay away from that as well. But we all have a good time anyway.
That's right.
I hope y'all have a great weekend, and give us a shout, 285-8117, and everybody enjoy the weekend.
Appreciate you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad. Take care, bud.
Sir. Thank y'all. You too.
Yeah, great sponsor there.
Oh, yeah.
And let's go to Clint Jr., right? Clint Jr.?
Hey, Joey.
How's it going?
Switching to local news, that shooting that happened on Ann Street Wednesday, Dookie likes to call in and saying we only trip when it's white folks that get shot. But they're not even telling any information on the news about this shooting. All it is several people shot. Turns out the cashier that works up there, nicest guy, night shift, he's the one that got shot and killed.
Wow.
After these hoodlums come in, starting stuff, and he exchanged fire with them, defending himself. But a cashier just trying to make a living has got to deal with this crap, and it just gets him killed. I don't care what color you are. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. Daggone, man. Well, I appreciate you calling that in, Clint.
Yes.
And I think I still believe the vast majority of people, say 99% in this city, hate this crap and want to see it stopped.
Amen. Have a good one.
Thank you, bud.
272-9228. We only got like a minute or two left. Have we learned anything today? Not really.
I didn't really learn it today, but I was reminded about it today.
No.
Popeyes does not agree with me.
Well,
Maybe it's a
especially
one-time
after.
thing. Try it again.
I will.
Well, is it the fact that you were eating clean for so long?
I think so.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Your body's like,
So you
what's
put
this
all that
poison?
like grease in you?
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's probably
Get this
has
poison
something to do with
out.
it.
that happened to me with a Coke, like a proper.
Really?
I hadn't had like a proper Coca-Cola in a while, like Coke Zero
Yeah.
Diet, but it hurt. Like it tasted
Like
great.
burning?
No, it wasn't indigestion. It was like my stomach, like 20 minutes later, was just killing me.
It's the poison. Your
well-
stomach's like, hey, I hadn't seen this kind of poison in a while.
Well, and then I remember working Parks and Rec where there's too much corrosion on the batteries. Like, oh, just put some
Coca-Cola on there.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's
Maybe you had a
probably-
little corrosion going on, Joey, and that was
maybe,
working
yeah.
it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on my gut biome.
Got that evil out of you. Yeah, my wife makes kefir now, so yeah, it's supposedly good for the gut.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all the different strains that are good for you.
Get some
Anyway.
get some good fermented kimchi.
Kimchi, baby. That's where it's at.
Kimchi.
Throw that on some rice. Ooh-wee.
I don't know if I'm down with Korean food just yet. I'll keep trying it. There are a few places around here.
Yeah, there's some great Korean spots in Montgomery.
Try the bulldog; it's pretty good.
I like Indian food. I like Chinese. And
We got to check
Japanese.
out the Jewish restaurant.
The what?
The Jewish restaurant.
We have a Jewish restaurant?
Brian made me aware of it. Byron made me aware of it.
Would you like some kugel?
I don't know about
challah bread?
I was going for the challah bread.
Challah
back bread.
Are the Jews known for their cuisine? Like, I know that they have like
They have unique dishes, but
I didn't know much about it till I went to the Bats Mitzvah, what I went to, whatever that thing was called, my Jewish family, and the Bat Mitzvah.
Bat Mitzvah.
Yeah, I thought Jewish food was just basically our stuff with just a little less spice on it. I was wrong. They had a whole menu, but it was good.
Oh no, and I lived with a Jewish fella for a year or two, and he'd make these brisket. Like, yeah, there's some stuff in that style.
didn't
Like,
have
well, think
that.
of like Cat's Deli and like the great
Yeah.
pastrami and stuff. That's
some of
very
that
Jewish.
Yeah, I mean, especially I've heard in metro areas like the Jewish delis.
Yeah, and the gefilte fish is to die for.
Let me know.
And on that note, Greg Budell is next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.